Three, two, one. 3, 2, 1. So, there we go.
I'm trying to get the.
All right. Hey, y'all. This is Stevie with Redneck Economics, and tonight we have Monotalk with us, the amazing and wonderful Monotalk. He was recently, there's some news going on with his channel, and it's good and it's bad. Let's put it this way. It's good because he is threatening, not threatening, but he is challenging and getting a little too close for comfort to the people that are in power, right? By speaking out about the information, completely factual, that he's come across, and because he is being honest and sharing, facts, he has been censored by the corporate overlords at Google. So, how long is your suspension for?
I think it's a week.
A week, okay. So I know you've gotten strikes before in the past, but I think that the way it was timed, that this only counts for one strike, right?
I think so.
Oh, and we've got Mitchell here, Snork. Hey. Yeah, so this is, it's good and it's bad because, usually this is our night that we go on and we do live streams to your channel. But tonight we're going to switch it up and we're going to do it on my channel because apparently you're too much, of a problem. You're a thorn in the side of the people in power, right? So what was it that was so dangerous that we were talking about that they had to silence you? Somebody that with, now here's the thing. How many subscribers do you have?
God, I don't want subscribers. I'm not ever trying to get monetized. I just want people to share my videos. That's all that matters to me. Because some of the information I bring up hits home with the people that are watching it, and it kind of slaps the draconian corporate governance that's happening to us right now in the face. It's just, I'm at like 368 or something. And I don't care about that. I never do. And I've been doing this since Blog Talk Radio started on January 6, 2014. And then I started doing YouTubes in 2016 or something like that. 17. And I was doing it with Evan for a while. And then I started mine like in 2017. So, and I've got like 374 YouTube videos up. The majority of them, going over pretty much everything that's happening, that's been happening for the past few decades. I'm just kind of catching up with a lot of stuff that's been happening every time I go on, because they make it pretty confusing, and I think that's for good reason. So I just go through it. I decipher what they're, just from my experience, I decipher and research and investigate exactly kind of what their positions are and why they're doing what they're doing. Of course, a lot of it is money. A lot of it is control. A lot of it is just because they know they can. I mean, like I said, I've mingled with a lot of people at big parties at Bel Air, Beverly Hills, when I was in LA, etc. And these people are eccentric, and they really truly believe that they're owed more than everybody else. It's a really sickly type of thinking, but it's out there, and they're like this. And the 1%, the majority of them, I would say, are just vile, putrid creatures. And I've experienced it firsthand. And the marketing that I've been involved with, sales, advertising, branding, publicity, all these other things that I've been involved with, kind of indicates, like behind me, you can see that it says um, it's about the money, and it's about the advertisers and who they're taking care of, and it's been like this for decades. As my research goes back, that basically it's them, and there's just a handful of them. There's not a lot against billions of people, and what's sad is you've got mainstream media, and we're talking CNN, Fox, MSNBC, and the list goes on, PBS, sadly, of course, and all the publications, Huffington Post, New York Times, et cetera, that have been pushing these narratives, these talking points. They're branding you constantly, and what gets me is I'm starting to really show people how that happens. I think that's one of the reasons why, because everybody talks about vaccines and everybody talks about COVID-19, all these other things on Facebook, et cetera, nothing goes anywhere. But I think what I'm trying to show, which is very close and hitting home and scaring them, in my opinion, is that I'm showing the mechanism, how the machine is built and what it's built for, and why they keep doing what they're doing, and they're not going to let up. And that's what a lot of people can't fathom, is that they're just they have to win. That's their goal. They will never lose. They have to win, and they're going to. And I've said this in my shows, they would rather destroy the entire planet than the 99% to start to win. So, and that's something that a lot of people need to understand, is that they become desperate, and these algorithms and the way they set up YouTube and Facebook and Twitter and all these other things, these processes of eliminating those people that are getting close to the target, right? The old Air Force or wherever it came from. If you're not catching flak, if you're not getting surface-to-air missiles or surface-to-air gunfire, then you're not close to the target. And I've been going through this for years, and I've never been big. I've never been like big subscribers, monetization, selling T-shirts and coffee cups, which is fine. You can sell whatever you want. I think that's great. But the thing is I've been more recently, like everybody else, censored. Fuck right. Censorship. I know that's what we're after. But if you're getting close to that target, and the way they have it set up, whether it's AI or whatever they're using, or maybe they just have a person that's just fucking going, we got to watch this motherfucker.
See, here's the thing, is like, okay, why would they don't do, gotta mute.
Just
I'm censoring you. Sorry to censor you.
Sorry. Yeah, I just got censored on Red Economics. My own wife just censored me.
But that's the thing, is like, why would they waste, this big corporation, Google, YouTube, with all these millions of people and years of video footage, right? There's like enough video, there's like centuries of video footage on YouTube to where, you could get lost in all that. And the fact that you have, which I don't believe for a second that you actually have 300 subscribers, right? The same thing happened to Krish Mohan. He's been on RT and all these different platforms, and he has 300 and some subscribers last time I checked. There's no way that after years of doing this, that you only have 300 subscribers. Just like there's no way that my numbers were stuck at, I think it was like 1,280 for the past 2 years. No way. But the thing is like, they go after you who you're not monetized. So it's not like you're scaring off advertisers, right? You're not scaring off advertisers because you're not doing it, to make money off of ads. You don't have like, this gigantic, like, hundreds of thousands or millions of subscribers, right? We're just a little channel, people that are here now, me, you, and Snork here, like we're just people here that care. Sorry, Snork, I'm not trying to ignore you. I'm just, I got to get this out real quick. Okay. But we're just trying to share the information that we get and do what's right. And yet they thought that, that you were worth, silencing basically. And this isn't the first time that you've gotten in trouble, is it? Oh, Facebook, you stay in jail.
In regards.
You're muted.
Yeah, I think this is my first strike. But anyway, what's amazing to me is that I'm fucking tiny, and I've been doing this for a long time. But for some reason, subscribers just can't go away. I don't understand how that works. I guess I don't know if I'm saying the right things or the wrong things. All I know is that I've been saying something recently that they just do not agree with, and it was based on, if you read it, and I read it. And their community guidelines are based on the World Health Organization's, etc. information. So if I go
It's like TLAB.
and I'm just asking questions. I'm asking questions. I'm saying I don't think this. What do you think about that? Right? And if I continue that narrative, I guess I'll be gone. I don't know.
Well, I know that you've been working on, you're uploading to different channels.
Odyssey. I'm going to Odyssey, right?
Yeah. No, it's
Sorry.
super secret. Super secret. Okay, we gotta be super secret right now until all your videos are uploaded in multiple places. We gotta, be very, very careful with what we say here, because the eye of Sauron is watching us right now, right? So we got to make sure that we got to be careful with what we're saying until we make sure that everything, because that is a lot of work. That is 6 years worth of information, research, videos, conversations, debates, all this that we've done over the past, 6 years, and to have all that, just deleted. I don't want to risk it until, we make sure that your information, your work is safe. So, with that being said, Snork, it's good to have you here.
I can only be on for a little bit. I gotta get to
Okay.
bed. School
Sorry. Yeah, I was just talking about you earlier.
About what?
Good stuff. Yeah, I was talking about how you've been, trying to help us out with sharing information about gardening, farming, those kinds of things, because right now mutual aid is what it's going to take in order for us to actually make a difference. Mutual aid is the difference between defense and offense, because right now we're playing defense and we need to get to the offense of making them react to the government and the people in power reacting to what we're doing, instead of the other way around. So.
Which before he starts, we shouldn't have to do this. We shouldn't have to be scared to grow our own crops, or what Snork is doing should be on a planetary level. Everybody should be doing this. It should be sponsored. It should be condoned. You should have backing from our own government to make sure that you can't plant certain trees or citrus or fruits or vegetables in certain areas of your own yard in some states, cities, and counties. The entire thing is generated to make sure that you go to McDonald's. It's that you go get your groceries at the grocery store, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, it should definitely be incentivized and taught in schools for sure. But since that's not happening, we're lucky enough to have people like Snork and others, Lucas, that are out there, doing all this work to make sure that, people are, informed. So thanks, Snork.
Snork, have anything on censorship? Does that have any questions on censorship?
Okay. So do you have any kind of like personal experience when it comes to like the censorship, or is there anything that you want to share when it comes to like,
Cancel culture?
yeah, what's been going on?
Yeah, anything regarding the whole cancel culture thing that you can derive or think of?
We get it really tough at school. I mean, this, my name's showing, I shouldn't say anything. Yeah. At school, we can have people come in and say all white male professors have to be fired, and that instructor becomes teacher of the year.
Oh shit!
Gets an award for it. Where, we going the other way around, we get in jail. And the rest of us would never make that statement. But this teacher felt that she could, felt that they could do that. And no repercussions at all, even though it was on video, broadcast to all the teachers.
Wow. What I find interesting is it's our freedom of speech. It's that simple. Our First Amendment rights. Now it's their platform. It's their company. They can do whatever they want with it. But I just remember maybe just a year ago, you can look up some pretty heinous, awful, vile, and violent, abusive, all kinds of things on YouTube. There's just insurmountable amount. There's an insurmountable amount of just disgusting shit on there. But if you start to talk about the draconian corporate governance that's happening to us on a daily basis, like right now, and to everybody. I mean, Nico House just got pulled from Twitter, right?
Yeah, that's crazy.
And I mean, and so many other people out there that are going through this. The point that I'd really like to discuss or just kind of get out is don't stop. Don't stop. There's other platforms. I'm not sure how Panquake is doing. I know that ISE.media is coming out pretty soon, which is supposed to be very free, very unbiased. Just, they're not going after people unless there's sick and disgusting things that there, I guess. But
Did you mention the name again? I'm sorry, I didn't catch it.
It's ISE. It's Ben Schwann's putting it together. I'm actually an investor. I have $101 in that. Yeah, that she just found out. She said, "What are you doing with $101?" Yeah, but I knew it's good. It's going to come out, and I think Panquake also is coming out with stuff. And there's others out there that are trying to get away from the cancel culture that's happening right now. It's to the point to where I just feel like, it's almost like North Korea is looking really good right now. It's almost like Russia just feels like a summer holiday, right? It's almost like China. China, and I've said this a few times, China America, because we seem to be going in that direction, which is really sad. And look, I don't have anything against the Chinese people. And I don't have anything against any of the people of the United States, but it's the leaders, the legislators, the judiciaries, the executives that are so easily manipulated by the almighty dollar. It's just fucking amazing because it all comes back to them and their donors. They're just like I said, the donor class. And most people that get it understand that. The thing that is interesting, besides what I've already pointed out, is going after these little guys. I mean, even though Jimmy Dore has, I don't know, 500, how many, I don't know, a lot of subscribers, right? They're not going after him. They're not touching Jimmy Dore. Because Jimmy Dore isn't pushing the limits, and that's for damn sure. He's still a part. You're either a slave like me, and you're trying to break out of the shackles, or you're a tool for the corporate elite, right? And it's tough. And I want people to understand this very simple fact. If you're not at least bringing up whatever, and I'm not talking about lizard people or flat earth or aliens and all that other shit, but when you start to question authority, like really question the real authority, that's when you have clarity. That's when you have courage. That's when you have integrity that you can hold on to and say, you know what, I fucking went up against those guys. Who are you talking about? The seven?
What?
The seven in that movie we watched. What was that?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I mean, we're basically going to have to start doing that, which, I was going to start doing that every Friday, which is just start reading out the names of the people that have been censored and silenced for that week. That's what they were doing during the trial, right? I think it was like the trial of the Chicago 7, or it's actually 8, but yeah, that's what they did. They used that platform in order to bring awareness to the people that were actually hurt by these practices. So that's what I want to start doing is, I've been collecting a lot of information. I've been reaching out to people and saying, like, look, if you have any instances of, censorship, deplatforming, demonetization, and it doesn't even matter. I mean, a lot of it is on YouTube, but I mean, I'm getting stuff from Twitter, Patreon, Facebook, all kinds of, it doesn't matter. They're all working together. Silicon Valley is working together to make sure, with our government, to make sure that there is the one narrative, their narrative. So, so I'm going to start doing that on Fridays so we can bring awareness to the people that need their voices, amplified out there, basically, because it's just a matter of time before we're one of those people. So, James is already experiencing it, and I'm starting to sweat because I see everybody around me like they're dropping, man, and I'm just like,
that's what
it's coming. They're coming for me.
Yeah, that's
I'm a little insulted that they haven't yet, but you know what? I'm getting there. I'm working on it. I'm gonna be a threat one of these days. All right, we got Michael coming in now.
Yeah,
what happened to the storm?
I don't know, but he's just doing something. Michael's coming, but there's a video that somebody, I'm not going to say who, sent to me, and let me just read this if I could. I don't care to talk about this without risking a ban, but we appear to be skipping a very important step in the vax that could be causing a majority of injuries from blood clots. The vax causes clots. If it goes into a blood vessel, this UK doctor mentions that Danes find that the syringe practice to cut 30 seconds off of labor costs for each injection should be discontinued for safety. Let me just show this real quick. I'm just gonna share this real fast. I'm not gonna play the whole thing because I don't want you to get taken down. But let me just, give me a moment. I'm just gonna share this real fast. 2 seconds. Hey Michael, good seeing you, by the way.
Hey, yeah.
Give me a moment. I'm gonna share this.
Talk. I was just looking at my own interest group, but I put together a few notes, so I decided to share it anyway. And it's information from Denmark. Now, the Danes seem to think
Sound is mumbly.
using the wrong injection technique.
It's Dr. John Campbell.
Can you turn up a little bit? It's a little mumbly.
All right, just a moment.
Well, warm welcome to this talk. I was just looking at this for my own interest, really, but I've put together a few notes on it, so I decided to share it anyway.
And it's information from Denmark. Now, the Danes seem to think that we might be using the wrong injection technique for giving the vaccines. Now, incorrect injection technique is what they are suggesting here.
Okay, so that's all I'm playing of that, and I could post at least dozens of. This guy is like one of the top virologists on the planet. He's like one of the top virologists on the planet, and for him to even bring this up, you know, and he's not being taken down. He's got 86,559 people that have watched this video, right? I've had like, what, 93? I get fucking taken down. That's fucking crazy. You know, nothing crazy, nothing weird. But the point that I'm really trying to make here is there's a lot of very highly and qualified specialists right now that are going, well, you know, this just doesn't seem right. It's not panning out. It just doesn't, the process or the way it's made, or I mean, there's so many different variables that have plenty of questions. But anytime you want to try, the thing that gets me is you, if you're asking the front man, right, Fossey, if you're asking the front man about what's going on, okay, he sells it. He's just the salesman, and he's the front man. But I want to talk to the actual professionals, and I want them, with all their information, to ask Fossey. I want the person that Ronald B. Brown, who brought up that the notion that he brought up back in March of 2020, that this flu is 10 times more serious than the seasonal flu, you know, the flu, right? I want these questions, and that paper had never been challenged. It's never been proved to be wrong, ever. So that was basically a big fat lie of what he said. And he's changed the goalpost back and forth. The CDC's changing the goalpost back further and further. And now we're variants and we're doing all these other things. But the point is once somebody has concrete information, they're not allowed to challenge the so-called WHO and the CDC, and it's just, there's no discussion on this. There's no debate on this. There's no argument. There's nothing. And that's the saddest thing, what's happening. You bring your information, I'll bring mine. Let's let the people decide. Let's see what's really happening.
I mean, like that's the thing. That's the whole basis of science, right? That's how science works. Is you put forward your hypothesis, and that that's why they publish papers. They put their idea out there, right, and it's for the rest of us, or not necessarily me, but it's for the rest of the scientific community, the people that are knowledgeable in that area, to debate it, test it, see if it stands up to scrutiny, really put it through the ringer. And then if it still stands up after all that, then it goes to the next stage. But the thing is like right now, people are putting out a hypothesis, and we're not allowed to criticize it. We're not allowed to talk about it. We're not allowed to show any kind of dissent or, skepticism. So that's the problem that I'm having, is that, the whole basis of science is being undermined, and it's not just with science, like purely science, but we see this in the medical field, We see it in our, educational institutions. I mean, it's just all across the board. All these institutions, right, that we're supposed to be trusting, that are supposed to be there, to work no matter what. It's supposed to be independent of government or opinion. They're all being eroded or completely eroded and bend to the will of and even the nurses, doctors, virologists, people that are just questioning things, that people that just ask questions and say, hey, this doesn't make sense, right? They are being fired from their jobs. They're having their titles and their accomplishments stripped away, and being silenced. So, I mean, Michael, what do you have to say about this? Because I know that you know a lot about how power works. So how does this play into, what the powerful people,
Well, I
their
was
goals
thinking
or
more,
what they're doing?
while you've been talking about that, I was mostly thinking about China. So, uh, when we get back to China, I'll have more to say. About the other thing I could say is they use soft power and access to control people with different opinions, because they could just like not pay the people who don't believe the things they want to believe. So they don't even really have to give orders. They can just same thing, with scientists as reporters. They don't order the reporters not to do something. They just only go to give interviews to reporters who ask nice questions.
Yeah. So instead of like, throwing them, they jailing or beating or killing, people that disagree is not a tactic they like to use. That's the strong arm technique. So they like to incentivize the proper narrative or people that assist them. Is that that's what you're saying, right?
Correct.
Okay. Yeah. That's the thing is like, so, I mean, I think we could expose that. So, I mean, like we could expose the fact that, not give them another option. I don't know if that's, what do you think about that? Like to expose the fact that they can't give them do something to where we have to expose either using a strong arm technique or, letting us continue with what we're doing.
Well, if you can think of a way to do that,
Just
that'd
real
be
quick.
great.
Wait a second, let him.
Oh, go ahead, Michael.
If you can think of a way to do that, that'd be great. I don't know how it would be done, because I mean the closest we seem to have to be able to do this is what we're doing right now, and they just use the logarithm to keep people from finding your channel, and they demonetize you, and they have all kinds of methods to keep you small. If you have a way around that, awesome, but don't ask me for it because I have no idea. You must be smarter than me if you've got a way around it.
I don't know. The thing is I've learned so much from you and a lot of people that watch. So I'm working on it, I guess. I mean, I'm trying to figure out a way because I want to expose them for what they are. I want to expose the fact that, like, look, you can't just hide behind your manners and your words and your platitudes to get me to shut up. Like, you're either going to have to come in and drag me off, right? Or that, like something like that to that extent. But I mean, technically we already have examples of that with Julian Assange and Edward Snowden and other whistleblowers out there. But you know what? I guess the more numbers you add to it, the better. I don't know.
Let me just add to what I'm saying. The ability for so many others that are out there that challenge the military-industrial complex, the big nuclear complex, and all these other industries, especially like big pharma right now. Nobody is able to bring forward this information and talk to these supposed professionals, these supposed elites of, and bring their information to them and say, well, you're saying this, but at the same time, this is what this is what's really happening. They're not giving us the avenue for that. They're not giving us the ability to have the discussions. And there's reason for that, because if everybody knew what the truth and the facts truly were, there would be chaos everywhere. Bottom line. That is the bottom line. If everybody knew, JFK, if everybody knew about 9/11, if everybody, Building 7, if you don't know that, then you should be watching it. If everybody knew about so many things that have happened, the Vietnam War. I mean, Smiley Butler, like World War I or whatever, he was a long time ago, he challenged the status quo. They tried to shut him up left and right and left and right. They wouldn't publish anything for him. So these tactics have been used for decades to silence people that know that there's a bigger force behind the narrative, the talking points, the platitudes, and all these tools to manufacture consent from the masses. And when you hear MSNBC or CNN or Fox or whatever, and they start talking about certain things, whatever the case may be, PBS and blah, 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 whatever, mainstream media, the picture behind me clearly indicates that. I don't have a studio that's worth $1 billion. See, they're right behind me. The reason why those studios are so big, the reason why those supposed journalists and pundits, etc., and all this other crap that's everywhere, get paid for what they do. Speaking, one is Andrew Yang, who for some reason everybody likes, just a fucking opportunist. But the reason why they say what they say is because of who controls them, who pays them. If your boss pays you to build a house, you build the house. Their boss pays them how to build the house for their boss, and their boss isn't you. And I try to make this point over and over and over again. I'm okay with somebody selling, like a doctor, or somebody's just selling homeopathic or just t-shirts to vitamins, to whatever they're selling, because they're probably just making $2,000-3,000 a month max, right? But these guys are getting paid fucking. If you go after those, if you're so senseless, like I've seen somebody say, well, Alex Jones is going after, which he does. He in my opinion, he goes after the religious people that are, and certain people that, and he kind of, in a sense, takes advantage of them, which he's making money and profit. I'm not saying Alex Jones is great or anything. Full disclosure. But the thing is the guy is trying to survive and make money. Right? He's not getting paid the big bucks like these fuckers are from the big corporations that actually are controlled and manipulated by larger players that are out there pulling the strings. These industries, big nuclear, big pharma, big fracking, the military-industrial complex, these are mechanisms or machines that create money for who? For people, for like a very small group of people that make a ton of money, and they dictate exactly what these behind me, these reporters or commenters or whatever the fuck they are, they're just show. They're just show. The other people that are out there, and most of them, like Ryan Christian and Whitney Webb and Derek Bros and Convo Couch and Steve and Gloria Slow News Day, and a few others that are out there, and there's many, and I'm not talking about everybody. There's some, I can't mention all of them. Spiro, Dr. Shiva, and a few others.
Well, we have a list of good news sources on Party Exodus.
Yeah, and it's growing, Thank you, partyexodus.org. But those are people that are just, they're not even a scratch 100 yards away from the surface compared to what these fuckers are getting. And they're never going to say what you need to hear and what you really, really need to hear. They're going to tell you what they want you to hear, what they want you to think, what they want you to feel, and they have a process. It's an amazing process. And when you tell somebody, guess what, you're being fooled and you're being played, the ego turns on. Automatically, no, not me, I'm fucking smart. No, that's why I always say, that's why I always say, look, I'm a slave. I admit it. You're either a slave like me or a tool, or you just don't fucking get it. That's it. There's like 3 choices, right? You either don't get it, you're not paying attention, you just don't fucking care, and your mind's somewhere else, or you're a tool for the corporate governance, predator class, donor class, you name it, oligarchs, whatever, right? Or you finally recognize that, no, I'm still not getting a decent wage. I'm still not getting health coverage. I'm still not, these wars are still killing people all over the fucking world, right? For what? So that the military-industrial complex gets an average of about $680 billion fucking dollars a year, right? And the list goes on and on the heinous and disgusting and horrific things that are happening because there are small players out there that are making all this happen. And I don't know what it was. It wasn't Get Shorty, but I have the fucking clip and I'll find it. But when it comes down to it, there's always one guy. And I'm not, I don't think Klaus Schwab is the guy. I just think he's part of it, right? I don't think Bill Gates is the guy, but I think he's part of it. They're a team, a circle. Fauci, he's part. There's a big team of people out there that are pulling the strings to make this happen. That while this pandemic or scamdemic or flu or whatever you want to fucking call it happened, there's a process to all this, and these things are planned, which most people don't realize, sometimes decades in advance.
Oh yeah.
Right. This is not 3G chess. 3-dimensional chess. This is 5D chess. Right?
What Trump and Bernie Sanders and AOC is doing, that's not the 3D, 4D chess. No. Now that does happen behind the scenes, right? That does happen with these, people that we don't even, a lot of times their names aren't even mentioned in the news and stuff, right? These are the agencies and the foundations and the groups that they're like the Voldemorts, they who must not be named, right? The Klaus Schwabs that are out there. But I think that as it gets larger, like in what we're seeing, like on a global scale, I don't think it comes down to like, I think that works like on a smaller level, maybe, one corporation or one, group that's running one country. But what we're seeing on a global scale right now, this definitely is a group of people. And you can, if you want to know who that group of people is that is doing this in your country, because it's not just America, it's not just, Canada or France or the UK or any of these other countries. It is just go no further. You can go right on YouTube. They're not being deplatformed or demonetized. Go to Davos, the World Economic Forum. The World Economic Forum has a YouTube channel that is free and clear, and I guarantee you they ain't getting any damn strikes. Okay, check that out, and you'll see they put it right out there. See, James is getting deplatformed. Or not deplatformed, but censored, temporarily. And a lot of people are being silenced because they're just bringing attention to the facts that are being put out there. They're talking about the things that these people, like at the World Economic Forum or the people at the CDC, and talking about the things that they're putting out there so they can say the things. They can go out there and have their YouTube channels write their articles and have their platforms to say whatever it is that they want to say. But then when we talk about it, we get silenced, right? Like, so, that's absolutely troubling is, putting it lightly, but that is very concerning. Like, we should all be concerned about that. Like, they can talk about it. We're not allowed to talk about it. There's a different
I would
standards for
disagree
different
though
people,
that
right?
it's 4D chess on their part. I think it's
Oh,
more.
wait.
I don't.
Go ahead, Mike. Sorry.
I don't think it's 4D chess on their part. I don't think they're smart as you're claiming they are. I think it's more like they're a combination of, one is they've lucked into money, and then they use the money to set up the chessboard so that you have almost no pieces and they have all the pieces, and they
Right.
can checkmate you in 1 or 2 moves. So it's real easy to be a chess genius when the board is just okay. My first move, I declare victory.
Yeah, right. When
It's
the other person doesn't have a queen, right?
yeah.
It's easy to play chess. Yeah, no, that's totally true. That, like, more what I'm talking about is like they lay the groundwork for you to be okay with it. Like as far as like Biden being in office right now, I know several years back, even when I think back in like during the last election, I saw them laying the groundwork for Biden's election now. I mean, like, I saw the propaganda. I'm like, why is everybody like, there's like all these like memes being made about, Obama and Biden. He wasn't even running at the time, but like they were like, I would see it online, like with Reddit and stuff. It's just like there was like this big promotion of like Biden's this cool guy that, I'm just like, where's it? This is not organic. This is not organic at all. Like you can tell when something's funky, and it was definitely funky. I'm like, that just maybe a few people might believe that, but this isn't enough for it to be trending that, Biden bro, subreddit. I don't know if it's still even a thing now, but yeah, I mean, they were that's what I'm talking about. Like, they're laying the groundwork for consent. They're laying the groundwork for, they already have their idea of what they want to do. Like, they already know who the next president's going to be, or probably the next 2 or 3 presidents. So what they're doing is like they're manipulating your perception of reality, or they're manipulating people's like feelings and the facts that are being reported, just so they can like get those people into office. You get what I'm saying? Like, that's what I mean by 40.
Even then,
They're thinking a little bit farther ahead than us.
Even then, it's sloppy and opportunistic. For example, they really wanted Kamala Harris to be president, and they just could not do it. They used all their tricks, and they just could not make her popular. But then they finally managed to get, and they kept shifting between guys. Biden was not their first choice. Biden was not even it was like their 5th choice. And he lucked into winning one's place. And once they saw that he had a chance, they shifted all their opportunistically, not brilliantly, but opportunistically shifted all their resources to pushing Biden over the top. So it's less that they're 4D chess players as they are opportunistic grifters with a lot of money.
Just put it on whatchamacallit.
So it's just, okay. So what you're saying is like that they're not, I don't think that they are that smart or calculating. I think they're just like, that's why I call them the parasitic class. Because if it wasn't for us, they wouldn't have anything, right? Like, we do all the work. But at the same time, like, I think they have the means to hire smart people to do the thinking for them. Like they have people that they can just hire to do that kind of thing for them. Think tanks and lawyers and politicians.
Yeah, they can hire them, and not only can they hire them to do that, but those people once hired can make that their entire career.
Mike, you're going to say, go ahead, Mike.
Well, once they hire those people can make that an entire career. Like, say there's a upsurge of populism that creates like a useful labor law. Once the upsurge of normal people have gone home from their protest, they got their labor law, they won, then they go home, and because they have normal jobs when they're not protesting, and the moment they do, the think tanks are hired to like start to erode those labor laws, work continuously and constantly because they don't have another job. That's their only job. They wake up in the morning and they start trying to erode that labor law.
Paste for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, you were saying.
Did you not hear me? Did I make that a whole speech?
Yeah, you were talking, but James said something. I want to make sure you finish your thought there.
Okay, I gotta start from scratch then. I was saying, once people make a like say there's an upsurge of populism and a whole bunch of people hold a bunch of protests and they manage to get a labor law enacted. Once that labor law is enacted, they go home because they have normal jobs.
Right.
Whereas the think tank, hired to start eroding that labor law once enacted, that's their job. That's all they do. They wake up in the morning, they work at eroding that law, and they spend it every day constantly. So as a result of that, any success by popular movements are in little spurts, and the efforts to erode them are 24/7.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, that's what I say every day. I remind people that look, every day there are people out there that their sole job is to work against you and plot against you and figure out ways of screwing you over. So if you aren't waking up every day and fighting back against that, they're winning. They're gaining ground, right? So I mean that's just the reality of it. I mean, it's not just one person. It's not like just Joe Biden sitting there in the White House, figuring out ways, to screw us over. I mean, there are groups of people, like you were saying, that's their sole job is to do that. There's profit, there's motivation. They are well paid. Now, there's the difference is we don't get the benefits, we don't get the health care, we don't get the golden parachutes. We're not making millions of dollars or even thousands of dollars to do this, but they get all the incentive for doing that. And yeah, I mean, like we have the reward of, I don't know, not living under oppression or things like that. But when you're trying to sell that or to somebody that's like homeless, facing eviction, working 80 hours with 3 jobs, or it's like, oh well, you know what, you have the benefit of a better tomorrow. Like, well, that doesn't do anything for my bank account today. Like, I gotta have something in my bank account today in order to get food for my kids or a roof over my head. So that's where we're losing a lot of people. We're losing a lot of allies because they're taking us out that way. I mean, they are taking out our allies by keeping people focused on survival instead of it's surviving and not thriving. That we need to have the mindset of thriving instead of surviving.
Oh, another thing.
Let me just say real quick, if you don't mind. The oppression, the subjugation, and the fascism that's currently happening right now is, it's beyond anything I've witnessed in my life, and I'm older. I know that there are people that are 2 or 3 times older than all of us put together that are like, what the fuck is happening? But they're actually okay with. What was that?
No, they don't.
Did you get Cheryl on, by the way?
I sent her another link.
Okay. Anyway, Cheryl, we're trying.
She's not showing up in my chat at all.
Oh, okay, but she was there.
Fucking YouTube.
God damn YouTube. Yeah, so and they don't care if the thing that people don't get is if I'm getting, I mean, Bill Gates just got $3.5 billion in this last stimulus, right? He just got that, right? They're also spending $1 billion off of vaccine confidence that goes to propaganda, that goes to advertising, that goes to marketing, that goes to social platforms, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, etc. These are motivators, and what people don't understand is there are some big players behind this that have a lot invested. I mean, $150 to $100 a jab, that's a lot of money, you know, and 7.8 billion people getting it once or twice. Already they've made their money. They've already been paid. I mean, who is that? Crystal Ball. I can't believe even Crystal Ball went this. I mean, she's a. I'm sorry.
I think we got her.
We got her good. Hey Cheryl, real quick.
Hey.
So Crystal Ball actually, and I'm not like a big Crystal Ball fan and what they do and everything, but she actually went as far as to say that, and she brought on some an actual interview of the Pfizer executives that were saying that they know that they have plenty of this shit to go around, and that they're trying to make it seem, and this is called, it's the takeaway. It's a sales thing. So if you feel like it's to say, well, you're not going to get it and you'll never get it, and then you're like, well, no, I want it. It's a yearning. It's a marketing and sales. One of the oldest tricks in the book, besides divide and conquer, which they're doing now. But she actually exposed the fact that these guys know that they have stockpiles of this shit, right? And they've made it a long time ago, which is really questionable. But the fact of the matter is that they're trying to tell people they don't have it, but they have the jab fucking shit. They've always had it. And the point that really brings to fruition, that point that really comes out, is it is about money. It is about power. It is about control. It has nothing to do with your health. It has nothing to do with your safety. They don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck. And the thing about what gets me about a lot of people out there is they truly believe that these people actually care. They're concerned. They're trustworthy. They have this giant pass to do whatever the fuck they want with everybody. This is the biggest fucking thing that flips me out, is right now, and this started happening since in the third quarter of 2020, is everybody that was related or associated with big pharma got the big pass. They're trustworthy. They know what they're talking about. They're everything. They've got it down. It's like everybody forgot about the opioid crisis. Everybody forgot about the EpiPens, fucking, and the drugs they charge like $150, $2,000 sometimes for a pill, because they know if you can't take that particular pill, you'll fucking die. These are the same people. These, they just for decades they had this giant. Sorry, sir. Hi, good to see you, by the way. So they just had this giant case that's finally closed with only like a few hundred million, just millions of dollars, just nothing big. It's like a slap on the wrist for these big pharmaceutical companies that just finished the case on baby powder for the same company that's pushing this fucking vaccine. I mean, that's what gets me. What was that?
But they care about you.
No, they care.
Your health and safety.
Let's hear what Sarah, what you got for us, Sarah? What's going on?
She's a delight.
All I can say, they were working on this since 2005 with that virus. That coronavirus been out here for years. Did you ever hear of a Dr. Victoria Tenpenny?
I have, yes.
Yeah, because she was mentioning about that, and she said it's so sad the American people is going to be taking this vaccine. Because she said it affects she described your T cells and your white T cells, when you get sick, or get cut. And the T2, that one heals it. She said when you get those vaccines, and there's no turn off button, when you get sick, it's going to affect those cells. But you can't fight off anything.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a good interview. I saw it on Rumble. That was a really good interview because she said coronavirus, I think she said coronavirus been out here like 60 years. They just took this one and weaponized it in the lab and put it out here. But I really see it. I think it's like the flu. I really do. 80,000 people died of the flu in 2019. I'm quite sure a lot more died last year. And you don't hear about the flu no more.
It magically disappeared, Trill.
Yeah, it did. It did.
Yeah, I think that's a good point that you're bringing up there. I mean, like the fact that coronavirus has existed for a long time. And I know like there was some, conspiracy theories that came out like in the very beginning. They're like, oh, well, they looked at the back of like Lysol and disinfectants that says that it killed coronavirus, but like it was something new, but it's not something new. It's been around for a long time, but for some reason, like it's this particular one is very complicated. It's different. It's got, I know that there was a Nobel Prize winner that spoke out and said that it had been genetically like manipulated, that it had been spliced with like HIV or something. So
yeah, HIV.
We're still like trying to figure that out because I mean, there's still people studying this. It hasn't been isolated. The tests don't like.
And they also had SARS-2 in it too, and COVID.
What was that?
It also said SARS-2 and COVID. I got an alert today. They're coming up with a vaccine for SARS-2 for this COVID virus that's out now. And 3 people in Hawaii got the coronavirus vaccine, and they got corona.
Yeah,
COVID.
What's the point of the vaccine when you can't go out? Like you still have to be under lockdown. You still have to wear masks. You still like have to distance yourself, right? According to them. So like, what is the incentive of getting the vaccine? Right
here in my city and state, they see these doctors, these so-called experts are saying, oh, we're going to have to stop the indoor dining. We just opened it back up again. It's on the rise. I don't believe it.
So that you know who's talking.
Oh, it's on gallery view. Okay. Sorry.
Now, I don't believe it. It's not talking about it's on the rise. They just and the thing is, all of this is happening in democratically ran states.
Yeah, I mean, look at Cuomo. He was held up as the golden boy, right?
Yeah.
And look what he was doing. He committed like 5 different 9/11s by sending all these elderly people to nursing homes. Knowing what he was doing, knowing that these are the people that are immunocompromised that we need to take care of. These are the people that we need to be especially considerate of their health, and yet he sent them off to nursing homes to go and die because why? He wanted to make a buck. He wanted to like get it reelected. And look, this is the thing. What I'm trying to tell that I keep saying like, look, it does not matter. You can be a Rachel Maddow, you could be a Cuomo, but look, if they will sacrifice those people in order to maintain their narrative. So they threw him under the bus for what he was doing.
Yes, they did. They did.
Yes,
that's what the Democrats are known for doing. And look what they did to Bernie twice. And that group just makes me sick.
Yeah, they keep thinking like they're gonna that like they're different from us, but you know what? These people that are in charge that make the decisions, they're not loyal. They are not loyal to them. They will throw them under the bus in a second if it helps them out. If they can gain anything from it, they'll throw them under the bus. So I don't know why they keep. I know that it pays well. I know Rachel Maddow is making millions of dollars, but what good is that when you get thrown in jail for what you do, or you become a social pariah. You're not allowed to work anymore because you're disqualified and shamed out of public space. So You know, they're not thinking long term. It's just like an addict. They want to get that fix with their money today instead of like, you know, planning for tomorrow. So it's
I'm like James. A lot of people
gross.
are complicit in this, like the doctors, the nurses, funeral homes, and whoever else I was thinking about. I forgot who else I was thinking about. All of them are complicit. And then they hold off for like surgery. Some people may need a surgery to have cancer. They can't get an appointment to Wazoo, and their life could be in danger. Some people have died that needed elective surgery, but they held off because they had to deal with COVID. That's BS. Some hospitals wasn't crowded. They wasn't crowded during the first shutdown.
I mean, they don't want you to believe what you're seeing. They don't want you to use your critical thinking. You know, that you've got articles out there. This article that, you know, I forget what New York Times that was saying, you know, don't use your critical think. Don't go down the rabbit hole. Don't use critical thinking. This is why critical thinking is bad. Don't believe your eyes. Don't believe your ears. Don't believe what you're seeing. And, you know, like you just, of course you can't. The only thing that you can trust is, you know, Chris Cuomo and MSNBC and Rachel Maddow. Those are the people you can trust. Don't trust your senses. Don't trust reality. Trust them. And that's where we're at. And what's sad is that there are a number of people that actually do that. That they will deny all of their senses at the cost of, like, it does something to your brain when you have to block out reality in order to believe these narratives. Like it really does a number. It costs a lot of your mental, like, if your brain is a computer, right? Mm-hmm. Believing these narratives costs so much of your CPU to where your computer is running so slow that you probably can't even open up a page on the internet. Like that's what these narratives do. Like it slows down everything because you have to check every single stimuli that comes in. You have to make sure that it fits with the narrative before you're allowed to even recognize it as a thought. So like it's so dangerous. It's so dangerous, but yeah, I'm so glad you're on here, Cheryl. I missed you. We don't get to do this enough. I love having you. You always bring the good points. You bring a lot of good points.
And guess what? Krispy Kreme is offering people a free donut a year if they go get the vaccine.
Oh my God. James just brought that up earlier. I was like, oh my God. I mean, I could buy a donut for 69 cents, but let me tell you, I'm just going to go get a vaccine to get a donut.
And the CDC, they own leases. People that were losing, violating their rent.
So besides getting blood clots or being sterile or infertile, who knows? Who knows? Right, from the vaccine, who knows? But now you're going to get you're going to be obese, and you're going to be diabetic.
Because they don't say everything about America.
All right, right. That's America. Yeah. It's fucking ridiculous. Ridiculous.
And the fact the stuff they have in the food here, and then getting that, they know what they got in the food here and having that vaccine. None of that's been tested. None of it. I'm not taking anything. I have never taken the flu shot. So. Because I don't know what that's for. I never gave my kids the flu shot either.
Cheryl, here's. I mean, how long have we been doing this? Cheryl, come on, a long time, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, and we've been following this stuff for a long time, and we've got new players out there that are seeing what's going on, and they're getting it, and they understand what's happening. And I'm just appreciative as hell that they're on the same page as us. But there are people that we thought were going to understand the facade, the circus, the sell, but didn't. It's like all of a sudden they all of a sudden they're like, wait a second, maybe I should trust Big Pharma. Maybe Big Pharma is good for me. You know, it's fucking amazing to me. It's truly amazing.
But you know what else too? They
What?
always kept pushing. We got to get Trump out of office. We got to get Trump out of office. We get this virus under control. They gaslighted the American people about Trump every day. All negative things being said, negative, nasty things, even assassination attempts. But they believed it, and he's gone now. So
Yeah, so the thing about Trump, which I like to tell people, an anomaly, which you should, I know you know a lot, anomaly, right? Okay, so he clearly indicates, and I'm probably the person that got him started on this, but I watched in late December or early or late January, I think, of 2020, where Trump was at his rallies, thousands and thousands of people, you know, instead of that were 6 foot apart with Biden, and there were maybe like 12 fucking people there, which is ridiculous. And he was saying it's a hoax and this bullshit. But in July and August, we found out that he bought 200 million between. There were two different times he did it, and his administration bought the virus, not the virus, excuse me, the vaccine. And they ordered it and they purchased it and they got into it. So, and his tone and his message changed immediately. Now you have to realize this, which a lot of Republicans don't, is there's one thing about Trump that you need to know for sure. Donald Trump was born with a diamond-plated gold spoon in his mouth. When he left as a teenager, going into college or leaving college, he had, you know, the best certified public accountants. He had the best lawyers. He was set for life, and he had millions of dollars, which is equated out to billions in a sense, or like 200 or 300 million. But when he left, it was like 2.5 or 2.8 million when he left. But this guy has been all about the deal, or making the deal, since day one. And what's interesting to me is a lot of his base that are living in trailers, that don't have a living wage, that don't have Medicare for all, that don't have everything they need to just fucking basically survive, still believe that this guy is the guy. But he's all about the deal. They're all about the deal. They're all about the deal. They're all about how much more can they get, and they don't give a fuck. And I get it. They were going after him. They were saying this, that, and the other thing, and I get that. But at a certain point, he changed his tune. In some of my videos in the past, I've got the information, I've got the post, I've got the factual information that proves that he took the deal. And then all of a sudden, he's talking about the logistics of the military going out there and administrating the vaccine and all this other shit. And what's really odd to me is that
the Democrats are doing that now. The National Guard is here giving out the vaccines, and some other states too. So I have to I don't disagree with you about he got a deal with the vaccine company. Well, all I know, he's not part of the club the elite are with. He may be rich. He had a lot of issues, but I don't think he's part of that club, and that's why they wanted to get rid of him.
It's whatever benefits Donald Trump. Right? I mean, do you think Donald Trump actually cares about you, or gives a fuck?
I don't know if he cares about me, but I know, I honestly, I believe he cared about America. People may say you crazy. I sat and watched a lot of his interviews and things like that, and how they misconstrued things he said that he actually didn't say it. Like one time, I forgot what country he was in, and they said, "Oh, the president's wife didn't shake Trump's hand," and that was a lie. It was a video where the wife actually shook Trump's hand. So I'm like, he lied, but a lot of stuff they misconstrued all his words, a lot of his words that he said.
Well, the hybrid regime hated Trump because Trump is a crude fascist upstart. That's the thing about hybrid regimes. They provoke one of three types of reactions from the public when the public gets fed up with them. They provoke a fascist upstart, or a communist upstart, or a theocratic upstart. In this case, the hybrid regime provoked a fascist upstart, and of course, the hybrid regime absolutely hated that fascist upstart because they always hate because they always not because they're believe in freedom more or anything, but because they hate how crude and sloppy and clumsy and how it makes how fascist upstarts make half-assed attempts to appeal to the populace, and it's nowhere near as efficient as their hybrid regime is, but yet the hybrid regimes can't resist provoking the populace into as it's almost like the public vomits out tries to vomit out the hybrid regime. It can't, and in the process of it either puts up a hybrid a fascist upstart, a theocratic upstart, or a communist upstart.
All I know, he didn't start no more wars the 4 years he was in. He may still throw them drones and stuff, but he didn't start no new wars.
Well, you know what's crazy is like, yeah, I posted because this is when, of course, one of the multiple times that James was in, Facebook jail. I was posting a meme for him on his Facebook, and because I usually don't use Facebook that much, but I posted one on there, and then like I found another meme that was pretty similar to that, so I went ahead and threw mine on there as well, which is, well, I'll try to bring it up, but it was I'm sure you've probably seen it before. It's a picture. It was a picture of. It's got 4 panels, and it's a plane that's dropping bombs. Each panel is dropping bombs, and it says, under Obama, under Trump, under Biden, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I posted it, and Facebook blocked me for it and said that it was fake news, and then linked it to an article. I go to the article, and it says that there's 2 different versions of it. One of them, the original version, which is the one that I posted, that showed that all these different presidents still drop the same bombs, right? But then the one that they were fact checking was one where they had erased the bombs under Trump, insinuating that Trump didn't drop bombs. And that's not what I was saying. I was saying I posted the one where he was dropping bombs as well. I was trying to draw attention to the fact that it doesn't matter who you elect, what color they are, what party they're from, they're going to do the same damn thing. And there was a warning with my picture. So I'll see if I can bring it up. But yeah, I got fact checked for being factual. Like even in the article that they linked was saying that that was a factual picture, and yet I still got flagged for it on Facebook. So yeah, this is why I don't use Facebook. I know I should probably get on there, same as YouTube, to try to reach out to people, but I just it's too toxic. I do not have the capacity to deal with it.
Do you guys you guys have an account with Twitch?
Oh, I don't know if I have a channel set up, but I'm signed up on there.
You're gonna do live shows on there too.
I should do that.
Because I follow somebody that got kicked off of YouTube. He's on there. He's still on Facebook, but he went over there too. So you can watch him on Twitch and Facebook Live.
What I'd like to do is eventually, one of these days, hopefully, get a gaming PC and be able to go on there and because I like to, me and James both like to play video games. And it'd be so cool if we could go on there, and bring gamers in and, come play games with us while we talk about politics and, events and news and all that stuff. So, but goals one day. Bombs are still dropping.
Yeah, they still drop it. That's a You share the screen real quick.
Yeah. Ricky Rance is here. Hey, Ricky. Hey, that was good work that you did over there on Break Analysis today. Yeah, I like what you had to say. I mean, look, the other guy wasn't like, the worst in the world. I mean, I've definitely seen some worse people over there, but not to name names, but
No, he was spot on.
look, I could tell that he was level-headed, but man, you live in New York City. Like that's your mayor. That is your platform.
Oh, God,
So I'm
that's
glad that you were there
ridiculous.
to speak up for your city. That was awesome. That was really awesome to see, for sure. Yeah.
Now, what's good is Rand's got it. He understood what's happening. He knows what's going on. He understands that, well, we need to be skeptical. We need to be very skeptical about who we believe in or trust. And that's his point. That was his point. It's like, I mean, if he's doing this or doing that, or they're doing this and doing this, then why should we fucking believe? Because if they keep changing their tone and, it just keeps going in different directions, why would I put my money, my effort, my time, my resources behind that person? I think that's what his point was.
Yeah, and nothing against Matt. I'm sure I don't know what kind of a person he is, but he has nothing to lose by backing somebody that could potentially be, terrible for that city. So, it's a it's a no lose game for him. So he can go on there and promote whoever he wants to, and at the end of the day, he doesn't have to suffer any kind of repercussions for backing somebody that's going to be terrible for that city. So I'm glad you were on there to represent your home, basically. So
Hey, he left.
well, anyway, no, but we need more of that, because there's so many discussions that happen about groups of people or areas, and meanwhile, those people are absent. Those people are that community that is being discussed is totally not even part of the conversation. Like we saw that with the telethon that I think it was Katie Halper was putting on. And all these people that were on the ground, that are on the ground activists, like the people from Slow News Day, Glory, all them, they weren't invited. They weren't allowed to be a part of that. They didn't want to rub elbows with the common folk, right? They didn't want to get themselves dirty by leaving their ivory towers and coming down with regular people out there fighting the fight. They just wanted to talk to other people that were from Harvard or Yale or scholars or had book deals, right? They don't want to come down here and talk with us. But that's the thing. If you want to get Julian out of jail, out of prison, you're going to have to work with us. Okay? Like, this is what you're going to have to work with. Okay? I don't talk pretty all the time. I don't look pretty all the time. Sometimes I don't say things that are,
That's incorrect.
Sometimes I'm not so smart.
No, that
but
is.
You know what?
You look pretty all the time.
That's the thing. You're gonna have to work with us if you're really serious about getting Julian out of prison and free. If you're really serious about protecting whistleblowers, this is what you're gonna have to work with. Like, you're going to have to talk to people that didn't come from Yale. You're going to have to talk to people that work at gas stations. You're going to, that's what you're going to have to deal with. I'm sorry. Not all of us have the privilege of going to, 8 years and sitting in an office all day long and reading books about philosophy and shit. Like, sometimes we just know what's right and what's wrong, and freeing Julian and whistleblowers, all around the world. Yeah, that's what's right. And it doesn't take a fucking Ivy League degree to know that. So, come on down here with us.
They don't know how to work with the regular people. It's like we kryptonite or something.
Oh God, it's like, ew, it's so dirty. I gotta. Ugh. Yeah. Where's my hand sanitizer? I just talked to a common person. Ew.
Yeah, that's how they be. Probably at them parties all together, Republicans and Democrats. They're beneath us. We'll just give them a little crumbs and they'll be happy.
And you got Jen Perlman on there saying that, like, Nina Turner shouldn't have come out for Julian Assange, which, out of all the things that Nina Turner's done, I don't think criticizing her for speaking up about Assange is one of them. That's probably one of the things that, recently that she's gotten right. She's running for the Democratic Party. Let's start with that one.
I don't think she's going to win
electoral
that one.
politics. Let's start with that one.
They ain't gonna let her. You know they can't stand her. Remember they ain't let her speak at Bernie's at the convention in 2016. She was supposed to speak, and they held her back. They are pissed with her, just like Tulsi. They ain't gonna let her get in there. It's sad to say, but they're not.
The thing about Tulsi that gets me is she pushed to make sure recently that the elderly in Hawaii would be first in line to get the
For the
vaccine.
vaccine?
Yeah, she
Oh
was
my
pushing
God.
that. Yeah, and I was like, and I'm trying to like hammer her Facebook and her Twitter and her YouTube channel, whatever she's got now, and say, no, you don't want, stop that, just wait. The problem with this entire process that's happening out there is everybody's impatient. Everybody's because what's going to happen, and which I'm just my perspective, is that there are going to be some heinous reports of people having some serious side effects with something that's we're all in clinical trials right now. Bottom line, it's in a fucking experiment, worldwide. And when people start, you know, falling down and having issues and problems, she's not going to want to be that person that was on that side. And I think she's backed off of that, which I think is good. But the thing about her is that I'm concerned about, and I put it in the chat earlier, is I do believe that if she does run, and if she runs again in 2024, if she runs as a Democrat, she's done. I don't want anything to do with her. If she runs as an independent, I will be skeptical because she could be the new Bernie. I will be skeptical, but I will think, well, maybe she does get it now, right? Or maybe she does get it. But but we have to all agree to this, and we can keep complaining about this, that, the other thing. Cheryl, you know this. Mike, you know this. Everybody in chat knows this. The entire U.S. political, electoral, and voting system is a sham. It was.
Yep.
It's been dismantled, and it's been basically destroyed and rebuilt for the predatory donor class, in my opinion.
Yep.
And sadly, people aren't getting that yet because they still think a party is going to fix it. They still think their representative is going to fix it. And that's not going to happen right now. And that's why Party Exodus is about creating our own process, our own system. And we're not picking up pitchforks and torches. We're just leaving. We're just, fuck you and your parties. We're gone, and we're going to create our own. We're going to use our own websites, our own systems, and at some point they'll probably take that down, which will probably have to go to like Citizen Band Radio or Ham Radio. But whatever the case may be, the goal is if we start leaving, if everybody just says, you know what, fuck all this, because it's never helped us. It's never worked for anybody. It's never done anything. And they're showing right now that they're going to vote for Medicare for all and for all. That's you know that's not going to go through. Right now, the Democrats have control. But just like in 2010, who had control? Obama fucking had control, right? But what happened? Nothing fucking happened. And they swooshed, and they moved, and they not moved. They like fucking tossed a single payer right under the rug or in the curb, and they just didn't even. Dennis Kucinich was trying to push this and brought it up to Obama, but nobody talked to him. Nobody fucking. They just left him in the dust. So what's happening now happened then in 2010. They got control. They're doing their thing, but nothing's going to happen, right? Nothing's going to happen. And the problem is people truly and fully and thoroughly believe that they care. Again, they don't. They don't, and they never will. I mean, George Carlin said it correctly. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't. Sadly, that was compromised by the Democrats.
Oh, that was bad.
That was bad. The Democrats used, I think it Rise. I don't know what the fuck it was. The Sunrise. They created his narrative of what I was just saying, and used it in a video all against the Republicans. Like they don't care about you. They're not going to do anything. They're a bunch of oligarchs. And all. I said, what are you talking about? This is the pot calling the kettle black, for sure.
Yep.
And it was sad. And they'll use whatever means or ways to manipulate the masses. And we've got to come down to this very common ground, in a sense, is that we have to make our own way. The revolution, right? When we decided to move away from the oppression, the subjugation, and the tyranny that was coming from England, we decided we wanted our own system. We wanted our own process. The colonies decided this is it, right? So it takes effort. It takes energy. Everybody's lazy. Right now, just a second, Mike. They're searching for somebody or someone to fix it. You know what? I think that guy will fix it. You know what? I think that girl will fix it. No, that's not going to happen. You have to do it yourself. The party exodus is about you leaving the parties, committing to just not dealing with that shit anymore, and removing yourself completely and totally from that system and creating your own. There's a process in there, and I want people to try to understand that. But anyway, Michael, you were going to say, sorry.
Yeah, it wasn't the whole colonies. There was actually less than a third of the colonies who were in favor of the rebellion. But and it was the richest third of the population of the colonies who wanted that rebellion because the other 2/3 of the population didn't really care. They didn't care because it didn't really affect them whether it was ruled by the local aristocrats or the aristocrats in England. The third richest wanted it because they wanted to rule. So they set up a system where they ruled.
1% of back in Bible. I mean, this is it's been this way for. It had been that way for a long time, and they knew it. That a great majority of people couldn't read. They would get a publication. I forgot the name of the what the fuck? It just came in my head and left. From anyway, the publications that were out at the time, nobody knew how to read them, right? What the fuck is it? Not Thomas Jefferson, the guy with the kite. God damn it.
Benjamin Franklin?
Benjamin Franklin, my bad. It's so bad. It's terrible. Anyway, I've already had a couple of beers. But the thing is, I think it was the Common Man or the Common Pen, something like that. The Common, the name of the publication that he created. I would say at least 90% of the people in the country couldn't understand it or read it because nobody knew how to read at that point. Seriously. So a lot of that information was put out so that others would talk about it, that understood it. This has been the way it's been for a long time. So there are people out there that don't understand what's happening still to this day. It's too complicated and too complex for a lot of people out there. What we're talking about right now, for some people, Cheryl, Michael, everybody in chat, is a lot to grasp. If you just jump in this right now, you're like, what the fuck are these people talking about? But we, like Cheryl, you and I have been in this, Michael, I know you have too, and everybody, a lot of people that watch my YouTube channel, and especially Stevie's, there is a ton of information out there that needs to be deciphered. There are people like myself, Cheryl, Michael, you, Redneck Economics, Combo Couch, Ryan Christensen, Derek Rose, Whitney Webb, that try to put it in layman's terms for everybody to understand it. But behind me, you have the other side pushing their narrative. You have mainstream media getting paid, like I said, millions of dollars to make sure that you're confused as fuck, for one, and for two, you're getting the information that the oligarchs or the predatory, the draconian corporate governance that's happening from the predatory class is pushing it out there. They're pushing it out there, and this is so hard for people to come to terms with. Like I said, ego gets in the way, pride gets in the way. It's like, no, I wouldn't be fooled. No fucking way. I've got this. I know exactly what I'm talking about. Biden's my guy. No, Trump's my guy. You know, whoever's my guy. McConnell, fucking Pelosi, whatever. Right? No, those are the people that are being easily persuaded. Either they're being easily persuaded, the common folk, or they're a tool to help that corporate mentality, that corporate perspective, to help it move. And they're out there. I get hit with these idiots all the time on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube, and I go back with them with some facts and they disappear because they think they're dealing with somebody that doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about. But I do, in a sense, not everything, know what the fuck I'm talking about to a certain extent. At least my information comes from I would say the sources that actually put out the information. I catch them just like Rand Christensen and James Corbett and all these people put out the information that they put out themselves. I go, wait a second, you just said this, but now you're saying that? Pick a side here. It's amazing. So I got a question for you. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you a quick picture. Okay? Can you see the picture? No. I'll just tell you what happened. So, in 2019, there were 7,423 bombs dropped. Who was president then?
Trump was. I know he dropped bombs.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, and then he signed, like a year prior to that, or a couple of years prior to that, making sure that the military-industrial complex. I'm just saying, what I'm basically saying is every single front man, I call them, figurehead or con man, and they choose these guys for a reason. This is not happenstance. It's not out of what we believe is the process. There's already a process in place to make sure these people will continue to keep.
But he didn't start no more wars.
No, of course.
He was still dropping bombs, but he did not start no new wars.
No, he didn't need to. They were already.
And then as soon as he said he wanted to remove troops from Afghanistan and Iraq, the Democrats and some of the Republicans, no, we don't want to remove them.
Exactly. No, they backed him for that. They backed him anytime any of the figureheads promote war. It's all in. Everybody's in. Everybody's all in. It's just the way it's been for decades. And that only says what? That says what? I mean, if Trump decided to launch a war against Syria, full bore, or Afghanistan, or Libya, or any easily destroyable, in a sense, country, right? To make sure that more bombs are being made, more weapons of mass destruction are being made. He's not going to get any flack for that. He's not going to get any friction or anything, because they all get their money from the predator donor class, just like Big Pharma.
Yeah, but my thing is that defense bill, he asked for a certain amount. The Democrats gave him more than what he asked for.
Yeah, that's true. No, that's true. Yeah, remember when Democrats used to be supposedly the people against war?
Oh, that's a BS now.
Yeah, that is fucking
total BS.
And their biggest spokesperson, which we know, for pushing killing and destruction and maiming of women, of men, women, and children, is Rachel Maddow. That's really sad.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I remember her. Air America, man. Totally different person.
Yeah,
Totally different.
yeah, that's totally different.
Money can buy. I ain't that much money in the world to make me turn like that. No way.
No way. I'm at the point now. This is why I started Party Exodus, because we know it's all bullshit. I know. I mean, where I was from is I was Democrat when I was younger, and I became Republican around people that thought they knew what the fuck was going on, and then I went back to Democrat, and I was pushing Bernie, and then Bernie fucking bent over for Clinton in 2015-16 in July of 2016 at the convention. I went, you know what, fuck you. I just wasted my time. I'm going to the Green Party, and then I went to the Green Party and found out they're actually designed to just go after the down ballot. They're not ever going to try, in all the 250,000 to 300,000 people that are in the country, are never going to focus their time, energy, or resources, money as well, to that one candidate that could get in the House of Representatives. They won't fucking do it. And I kept saying, I don't care who it is, put somebody in. So I knew for a fact that their job was just to be down ballot piece of shit people.
Well, no, James. Democrats in their last election, they were getting them kicked off the ballots through the courts.
To get them removed. This is
Yeah.
Still,
yeah.
It's still happening. Where and they just raised, and they're I don't know if they did, but I think there's 20 states now that they're raising the ability to run for president from $2,500 to register to not only get the signatures, right, but now they want $25,000 third parties. So no matter how hard you try to get your movement for a People's Party in, they're gonna fucking stop you. So that's why I'm saying it's fucking completely and totally gone. We just need to create our own. What were you calling it? It's not a. What was the ballot you were talking about? I mean, it's the voting system that you're talking about. It's a exit poll.
Yes.
Right. So we call it an exit poll, but it's actually a process.
Yes. I mean, they got rid of exit polling a few years back.
Yeah, they've been stopped that. And I think
we have to have a way of verifying our elections in some way, shape, or form. The thing is like right now that we have no method of verifying the results.
Yeah.
And we just have to trust the people that are in power that have everything to gain from just straight out lying to us about what the results are. And we're supposed to trust them like they have integrity when they've shown us the absolute opposite, that they have no integrity, that they lie, cheat, steal, kill to get what they want. So, I mean, these are the people that we're supposed to trust with our votes to count them and stuff. No. I mean, on a local level, it depends on where you're at.
Where I'm at, they corrupt. Like Chicago.
Yeah. So it depends. I mean, like, in West Virginia, maybe in certain places, New York City, there's definitely more of an incentive for them to, corrupt things, same as California. But, that's one thing, especially if you're in a rural area, you probably have more control on a local level than they'd like you to believe.
Well, I want to know how come when I was working in the post office around Thanksgiving time, why was ballots in the mail? The election was over. And the election was over. I'm like, why? It was a whole lot of them.
They were counting ballots after the fact?
I don't think they were counted. They were mailed the ballots in the mail around Thanksgiving time last year.
So that was rigged.
Huh? I know the election was rigged.
Oh, completely.
Yes.
But
that's probably the missing ballot from Lancaster.
Yeah. But here's the point that I've tried to make. Yeah, I mean, it's everywhere. I get it. But the point that I've always tried to make is when Trump slipped out the back door, didn't go to the inauguration, supposedly on the 6th of December, what happened on the 6th of December? There
He
was
had
like,
a rally.
yeah, that was just bullshit. It was the tour. I'm talking about the tour that they gave inside the museum tour in the Capitol, right? That they gave to everybody. Fucking, big surge of fucking killer people. It's fucking stupid. But what happened, what was supposed to happen is Trump was supposed to bring his case out. There were people that I knew that were in the Republican Party that are pretty high up there that were saying that Trump was supposed to bring his information and make his stand with his case, stop the steal. But what was used as the excuse not to was the insurgency, right? But here's the thing. After Trump left, what happened to stop the steal? It magically disappeared. And I am watching hours and hours and hours of fucking pertinent, verifiable information of how the rigging and the processes that they used were completely and totally not only unconstitutional, they were outright criminal. I mean, they were worse than what Bernie went through in 2016.
Yeah, it was.
It disappeared. But it disappeared. And the thing is now Trump, which I thought he was going to start his own party, like that made a difference. He comes out and he says, I think it was the CPAC or something like that, or whatever the fuck it was. He comes out and he goes, "Oh yeah, the mainstream media is saying I'm going to start my own party. That's just mainstream media bullshit," or something like that. I'm like, what? I mean, wouldn't that be the thing that you'd want to do? Or are you still with the same party that still, I mean, there are many people in the Republican Party that just fucking flipped over and turned on this guy left and right. And I'm not saying that they were doing it because of their morals or their ethics or to help the people. They did it because, like I said, there's a script out there. Everyone, listen, I'm just saying, there is a script. Cheryl, I know you know this. Mike, I know you know this. Everybody in the
We're
chat.
looking at a big movie that's already been made.
Movie. It's a big fucking movie, and it's all for show. But behind the scenes, they're creating legislation, and they're creating laws, and the legislators, the judiciaries are doing things that are still continually undermining the 99%. The 99% are the people that are still getting fucking hosed to this day, and nobody gets it. Nobody gets it, right? I'm watching Jimmy Dore just like vaguely go over this and vaguely go over that. He's still talking about shit that happened in 2016.
I know.
He became such a fucking disappointment. You know, Kyle Kalinske just started talking about fucking censorship. It just all of a sudden people are getting censored. Dude, where have you been for the past fucking year? Right? I mean, there are so many, I don't know if they're tools or they're not paying attention or they're scared to be deplatformed. And that's why I'm here tonight. I don't have my own show because I'm hitting home, man. I am fucking getting so close to, not that I'm like, I got close to the target. I just know that what I'm talking about, right, is somewhat, in some way, shape or form, threatening because sawing somebody's head off, or which happens on YouTube, or some pornography which happens on YouTube, or some abuse on man, woman, whatever the case may be, or whatever, shooting, just fucking heinous shit is still happening, but I'm getting censored. That, I don't know what that says, but it kind of says that, man, that motherfucker's getting close. That motherfucker's getting close. Nico House just got fucking censored, which he brushes into COVID. He brushes into the vaccine. But the thing, he just got censored on Twitter. He just got pulled from Twitter, right? And there are people out there that are getting this cancel culture. I mean, for God's sakes, Horton Hears a Who, from Dr. Seuss, has been scrutinized. They've been fucking pulled. Pepe Le Pew, bad and evil now. Pepe fucking Le Pew. This is really happening. I mean,
and they tried to get
happening
Trump.
right now is.
And you know what else
I'm
they
gonna
tried
say
to cancel?
It's a term that everybody needs to understand and know. It's called. I just had it in my head. It's a draconian corporate governance. Corporate governance, aka a better way of capitalism, is actually on the World Economic Forum's website. Those two phrases are together in the same fucking paragraph. They're actually pushing this shit. This is really happening in real time. The sad thing is, there's so many people just not getting any of this. And some willfully refuse to, because they truly believe that the entire system out there gives a fuck about them and they care and they want good things for us. But the truth and the fact of the matter is they fucking don't. They just don't, surely, you know it.
And you know what they also tried to do? They tried to get Trump's cameo removed from Home Alone. I'm like, really? Y'all ain't that man that much? Remove his cameo from Home Alone?
I showed that to my youngest. I was showing him the what was it, Home Alone 2, I think, that had it was Home Alone 2, where Trump was in it. And I said, oh, you want to see Trump? And I showed it to him. He was like, oh my gosh, like it blew his mind that he was in movies. I was like, I didn't even show him the stuff where he was like doing, wrestling and all that other. Might have broke his brain. Yeah. I think this is our first president that has, that's done pro wrestling, and our first lady that has nudes out there.
I can tell you why they do things like removing Trump from Home Alone. It's because it costs them nothing to do it, and at the same time they can tout how they're the good guys and they're liberal, progressive people. Because look, we did this progressive thing, like removing Trump from Home Alone. Cheer for us, vote for us. And meantime, they're blocking Medicare for all. They're blocking any meaningful policy.
Exactly. And it doesn't get rid of the stuff that he's done. It doesn't, just erasing him from a movie. Like, what does that even do? Like, just erase.
Right. It's not taking money
erase
from
the
my
fact
pocket.
that people liked him before he was president. The fact that nobody had a problem with Trump up until he became a president. Like, he was a household name. People liked him. They liked watching his shows. They liked hearing him talk. And then all of us, not that he was like a great person or anything, but nobody had a problem with him whatsoever. Nobody in media called him a racist or a bigot.
No.
But once he got in office, man, he was a threat.
And that's when they put the fear in the people. They couldn't stand him. I'm like, what way was all this when he had Apprentice? And I used to watch the show. And I'm like, I never heard, I see all the celebrities and pictures with him at parties and stuff. All these people, all of them, then he's a racist. Where was that at when all y'all were in pictures and stuff with him? They're hypocrites. Totally, they put fear in people about this virus, and then they show the empathy, and I'm sorry to say, for the immigrants.
Hey, Cheryl,
that's what they want them here for, to vote.
Did you know we have a celebrity in the chat?
Who?
Klaus Schwab is in the chat.
Who?
Klaus Schwab.
He's in the chat.
Other than Klaus Schwab.
Klaus Schwab, the Klaus Schwab from the World Economic Forum.
Really?
What would you say to Klaus if he was right in front of you, Cheryl? I'd love to hear that.
What?
What you'd say to him? Oh, I bet you'd give him a piece of your mind for sure.
I've heard about him. I never really looked into him or watched anything.
Oh, you should. Oh, he's right up your alley.
What?
What he's doing?
But if you knew what he was doing, you'd kick him right in the nuts.
Oh, he's right in there with Bill Gates. Ben
Oh
Schwann
my
reports on him a
God.
lot.
Oh, Bill Gates. He's still trying to block the sun. Ugh.
Oh God! Yeah, thank God we have people like Bill Gates looking out for us, right?
Yeah, I just don't know how. Because when he got busted on the antitrust law, he was quiet, and all of a sudden, philanthropist used to be a good word, but now he's made it dirty.
Where was that? I'm sorry.
When he got busted on the antitrust law for the Microsoft, and he disappeared and was quiet. And then he came out talking about he's going to be a philanthropist, and that philanthropist is a good thing. But he made that name dirty for what he's doing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Michael, I got a question for you. Speaking of Bill Gates, so I know that you know a lot about the stuff when it came to like the GameStop stocks and all that. So there's something about it that just doesn't sit right with me, which is like, I don't know. It got a lot of attention. There was a few people that were backing it in the beginning that were actually part of, like, they were posing, like, what was that guy? Something about cats. He has a YouTube channel. What's his name? I know Amber was telling me about him. But anyway, it came to light later on that he was actually posing as like this independent, like, stock trader, but he was actually, like this, average. I think he's into stocks. He's got his hands in a lot of different, cookie jars. But he was posing as somebody that was like this, internet, new guy that was doing things from the outside, but he was a total insider. And like, the whole thing with GameStop is, who does that benefit from keeping that afloat? And I got to say that, like, when it comes to games, it's like, well, of course, the first person that comes to mind is Bill Gates. So, how does that affect Bill Gates, or how does that affect Microsoft in any way?
I don't know what GameStop has to do with Microsoft. I just know kind of how the stock market in general is rigged, and how they use like insider trading and stock manipulation to they have all kinds of tricks they can use to force the stocks up or down, both by working with the stockbroker companies, and directly by doing things like trading to each other very quickly. They have basically all kinds of tricks to that can pump they can either pump or dump a stock, and they make money either way, because they can pump a stock and sell it, or they can push it. They can push a stock down and use short sales to make money. And since they in league with the people who control the stock companies, like Webull and all that, and Robinhood, supremely ironic name, Robinhood. They get away with it, and the thing is, stock manipulation is supposed to be illegal, but when the people with power do it, nobody recalls on it. The only time the only times I've heard of anything that might actually be done about it was when when a bunch of poor people on Wall Street bets all got together and did a short squeeze, and they were ready to attack that stock manipulation, even though the tricks the hedge funds and all did to beat us was itself stock manipulation.
I mean, it's only illegal if your net worth is below a certain value, right? Like,
Yeah, basically. You can't even really get into day trading unless you have at least $25,000, which is just a way of blocking people from trading making a living aggressively on a day-to-day basis. Unless you're already rich enough that you don't really need to day trade.
Didn't a guy commit suicide behind that? He gave up his money or something like that and invested?
Can you repeat that, Charles? Sorry.
I said, didn't some guy invest some money in that? A regular person, I think his life savings or something, and he committed suicide.
Oh yeah. They told him that that he owed a bunch of money, and then it came out that he actually didn't. That
Right.
they were wrong in telling him that, and so he committed suicide because he thought he owed hundreds of thousands of dollars, and
That's a
I
damn
guarantee you
shame.
nothing's going to come from that. That nobody's going to be held
Nope.
accountable for that.
Nope.
Tragic. I mean,
Well, I mean, like one of the tricks they'll do is they'll uh they'll sell to each other the rich hedge funds people very rapidly. They'll sell, but they'll sell at an even price, so that it's not technically, there's no profit or loss technically. But because they're doing this selling back and forth very rapidly, uh, the computers and the algorithms look like like there's a massive sell off, and it triggers a price crash, and they use that to like short stocks successfully. And of course, regular people can't do that because we can't all get together and sell, at an even price rapidly, like 100 times a second, with millions of dollars. But those rich people can, and they use it to manipulate the stock market, and nothing is done about it, even though it's like because you can see it, because there'll be like this huge amount of volume of a stock, because you can see on when you look on the computer sites for the stocks, the volume, and you'll see this massive volume, sold back and forth incredibly fast. And it'll be like, inhumanly fast, and it'll cause a price crash, a panic, and it's not like if the SEC didn't want to catch them, they couldn't catch them, because I mean, I can catch them. I can look at the screen. Look what they're doing. If I can catch them, the SEC can catch them, but the SEC doesn't catch them because they're corrupt.
So if I'm able to pass laws that affect markets, could I make money?
Oh, with ridiculous ease.
That's how Nancy Pelosi made it. I'm just saying. What's interesting to me is, and Michael, you brought this up. They should not, in any way, shape, or form, be involved in the stock market. They should not, in any way, shape, or form, be involved in I guess it's more of the pricing processes, which how do I split this? So if I'm out there and I have a product that I know that um, could change the stock markets, it's the portfolio in a sense, right? So I have a product and the portfolio is there, and then all of a sudden I decide that I want to put that particular uh, uh, product in, not directly affected, but like, it's not a reach around, it's a reach up. Okay, but right. So I could actually alter the movement of that stock by simply letting people know that I'm going to be passing a law that will ultimately affect it. Right. So what happens, which a lot of people don't realize, is, and it's like, what is that show? Not Coming to America, but the other one with what the fuck am I talking about? Oh no. So when not Coming to America, but what the fuck was that one with hold on.
what was the movie?
It was
Just
it wasn't.
describe some random details, dude.
No, yeah. So it was God, I've had a couple beers.
So it was a movie.
Yeah, it was a movie. Sounds like okay. Um,
Who was in it? What was it?
Dan Aykroyd,
Trading Places.
Trading Places, right?
I
So
love that
that was
movie.
major market manipulation. but the way they did it is happening to this day, but on a secretive scale. It's still happening to this day. But so it's the briefcase. But people don't understand, it's what's in the briefcase of what's going to happen, and the
It's
legislators know.
it's not even that secretive. They do a lot of it like right out in the open, pretty much. I mean, you have to know enough about stocks to know what to look for, but they do it right in the open because the thing is they probably won't be prosecuted, and if they are, the fines will be a tiny fraction of the billions they make by doing stock market manipulation.
Yeah,
They make billions and get fined millions at most when they get fined at all.
yeah, that entire process that is still happening to this day. Um, it hasn't been. It's like, how come there's not a law to stop that?
Because they're making money.
Because they're making their money.
Yep.
That's
your answer.
fucking amazing. Oh my god.
There's a lot of things like that with fines that are a fraction of the profit of committing the crime. Like a lot of the pollution laws, they just companies that pollute heavily just take into account that they're going to be fined periodically, and they do the math, and they make billions and get fined millions, so they just pollute. And there's this thing where the stock market manipulation, where they make billions and get occasionally made once in a blue moon get fined millions. This whole system where make billions by committing crimes that get you fined millions is ridiculous.
Oh, we live this every day here in West Virginia. I mean, when it comes to the mines and the fracking, companies coming in and they're polluting our environment, poisoning people, and they make so much profit from. I mean, not only do they make money off of their what they're doing, but they also get kickbacks from the government. So they're making money hand over fist, and then like what they might have to, shell out like a few thousand here and there, and if it ever gets too hot for them, they'll just file bankruptcy and completely wash their hands of any responsibility they have to the people here or to what they've done. They don't have to clean up their messes so long as they file bankruptcy. Same thing with pharmaceutical companies. They kill thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people, and you know what? It's a little slap on the wrist, but the profit will always be more than the penalty for getting that profit, and that is by design. That's why I wish that we even had just control of our court systems. I wish that at least the judges weren't corrupt, but we can't even go there anymore to change anything or to seek some kind of retribution or back payment or anything for the things that they've done and the harm that they've caused. I mean, like, we can't even sue them anymore. It all comes down to money. If you have the money, then you're going to win the court. You're going to win in court no matter how wrong you are. If you have money, you'll walk out a winner.
The profits 100 times fold outweigh the risks, and it's set up that way. There and yes, and in most cases there is no risk. For them, it's like a drop in the bucket for these fucking people.
Well, we've got Schultze in chat, Brian. Charles in there too. We were talking about West Virginia, like visiting, tourism, and all that. I need to do like a video that is just about West Virginia tourism, because there's so many places I could recommend. There's one that I want to go to. It's up like right past Morgantown, like close up where Cheryl is. And it's I think it's called like the Golden Palace or something like that, but you should look it up. I mean, it's beautiful to look at. That's one. I want to go back to like Hawks Nest and New River Gorge. I want to see Blackwater Falls. There's so many places. I've been to Cedar Lakes. It's really pretty out there, but I'll have to do like one whole video just about like West Virginia tourism, because there's so much to see here. I mean, I know I say a lot of like bad things, and there's stuff that's going on here, but further north you go, the more beautiful and uncorrupt it is. Like it's southern West Virginia is like where all the coal companies and uh, chemical companies are. So we're Cancer Alley. So it gets a little bleak around here, but if you go up north, it gets a little bit better. Yeah, Brian nailed it in the chat. West Virginia is nice, but it's boring. It is. I looked up tourism, like stuff to do in Charleston, because where my stepson is coming out here, I wanted to make sure, like, we're planning some fun stuff to do. And in the top 10 lists of things to or places to visit, things to do in Charleston, West Virginia, was visit a cemetery. They literally recommended visiting a cemetery. So that's what we've got going on. I don't know what it's like where y'all are living, but a point of interest of tourism here is apparently a fucking cemetery.
That's actually true in Louisiana a lot too, especially New Orleans. New Orleans has beautiful cemeteries.
Yeah, it ain't even pretty. Like my grandpa's buried up there. It ain't nothing special. Like it's in Charleston technically, but like I'm like, of all the things they could recommend, no wonder this is what people see and they're like, oh well, yeah, I ain't going there. Oh, let me tell you, I'm going to go and spend thousands of dollars and take time off of work to go and see a cemetery in West Virginia. I mean, we are capable and we have so much here to offer. It just pisses me off because, like, yeah, it can be gorgeous out here, but the thing is like, that's what we have, because we have to keep all the businesses, we have to keep all the industry out, any kind of job opportunities, because people won't go and let their, land be torn apart by fracking and coal mines if we have other opportunities of making money. So that's why it is the way it is. That's why a cemetery is a point of interest in tourism, is because they got to make their money.
And Stevie, I saw an interview with your governor in West Virginia.
What was it?
Your governor. He did an interview on YouTube with some news network, and he was talking about when he was voting on that stimulus package. Yeah, he seems like he's pretty cool.
Oh, he's the worst. I can't stand him.
He's the worst.
I mean, oh my God. In his inauguration speech, he was talking about giving JP Morgan money. He wanted to make a deal. He's like, well, we'll get a loan from JP Morgan. And he goes, or he realized what he said. He goes, or whoever. We don't know. But he makes money on, he's a billionaire. He's like Trump with a head injury. He goes around. He owns stock in lumber here. He owns stock. He owns the Greenbrier, so he has a direct incentive for tourism here, boosting tourism. He owns all the coal mines. Well, a lot of the coal mines. So he got into office and he goes, well, we're going to put money into coal mines and tourism and lumber, and I'm like, these are all the things that you own, you motherfucker. You don't think that I don't see this? Like, you're a billionaire. I can't believe that we have a carpetbagger in office. Like, he is the epitome of everything that we hate here and everything that we have fought against here. And this motherfucker is sitting in office telling us that it's that a billionaire. And I asked him, I got a video up on my channel where I said, look, I asked him about the minimum wage, raising the minimum wage. And he said, well, I don't know if we can do all that, if we can afford all that. Bitch, we can afford you being a billionaire, and you can't afford to pay people a living wage to where they can pay their rent. Get the fuck out of here with this stuff. I just don't understand how anybody, and you got Kyle Kalinske. I'm triggered. Charlie, you got me triggered.
Well, what do you think that Joe Biden gave over a domestic thing at the border? No, I meant to say Ho Harris, the domestic thing to handle at the border. He gave it over to her.
Who gave what?
Biden gave Ho Harris control of handling the border situation.
Really?
Yes.
Huh. Did you see where he called her President Harris the other day?
Oh, shit, he said it before. She called herself president right in front of him when they were running.
I was like, y'all are forgetting the narrative.
This is all planned. They want her in there. She is not qualified. That woman slept her way to the top.
Oh, God. We got.
That's why I call her Ho Harris. Ho Harris.
I don't know about that part, but she's right wing, so I don't want her in the office. I don't know. I don't know if she's qualified per se in terms of technical ability, and she might very well be. But who cares when she's going to be?
Like Hillary.
Who cares when she's going to use those skills in promotion of right wing policies? You know.
And she might still use it. She was good at it to make it where she at. She is horrible. Horrible. She had to run out of the yeah, because she had to drop out of the race when she's running for president. She was horrible. And Biden had other people picked. I think he had Keisha Bottoms and his other black woman. But he was forced to pick her as his VP.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm almost to the point where nothing surprises me anymore. It's just like, okay. And then I found out that, what's his name? Apparently, hate to even say the name, but what's his name? Hinkle. He met with Kamala, one of Kamala's people, when he was running for office. So I'd love to know how that even happened. Like, why did they take interest in him? What was that?
And she talked to world leaders.
Yeah, like, why would they do that? Why would he do that? I mean, like, they obviously they didn't see him as somebody that was going to push back or create a problem, or else they never would have met with him. But
the Democrats are basically committing elder abuse against Biden. Elder abuse. He's not there. The Democrats are committing elder abuse.
I know. I almost feel bad for him. I mean, he's done a lot of like horrible things, but like I don't think he's aware of even the things that he's done. Like, he's in a place where he doesn't even, I don't think he even knows what he's done. He's so far like gone that I kind of feel bad for him. It's just like you're parading around this guy that can't even, can't even walk up steps. He can't formulate a thought. He can't do much of anything anymore. It's just, I don't think to see somebody's mind go. I mean, that is not somebody that I see as like somebody I need to take down. You know what I mean? Like, I don't feel good about winning against somebody like that. It's just like, okay, well, I mean, like, God, it's so bad. I mean, the things he's done in his past is horrific, but at this point, he's mush. His brain is mush. Well, he is mush.
Honestly, I can't feel bad for him because he have a lot of people locked up of my race.
Exactly.
For minor crimes. So I can't feel sorry for him. You get paid back for a lot of things you do.
Mm-hmm.
And they're coming to find out his son is a stone drug addict. That's what's the killer. Stone drug addict.
Yeah. And the way that he did the black community when his own son is out there, the way that he was talking about drug addicts, and you've got his son out there taking pictures and showing off the fact that he's, smoking crack and all this shit. It's just like,
He probably came here in the city of Philadelphia in the Badlands. That's where they all come from, and the suburbs come here.
Yeah, he's still smoking crack.
Yeah, he is. He's His dad's dead.
And we're not allowed to talk about that, right? We're not allowed to talk about that, even though it's factual. I mean, I don't understand how mainstream media doesn't get it through their thick fucking skulls that they are not exempt from being censored or silenced or thrown under the fucking bus when you've got the Hunter Biden scandal, and they weren't even allowed to report on it. They were censored from that. And you got people getting,
They were censored. They were paid to not say that or they lose their job.
What? Who was it? Was it the New York Times or one of them tried to report on it and it got taken down? Like they actually tried to report on it, and it was taken down because that you're not allowed to say these things about somebody that's running for office. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody should have told Biden he's running for office. I don't even think he knows that he even got elected yet.
Biden has no idea what the fuck he's doing because he's not Biden.
Does anybody watch the videos of, it's called United Spot?
I haven't seen that.
They have a YouTube page. YouTube tried to take them down, but they fought them. They back on. But they do comedies of all of them down in Congress and stuff. And they had a video out where Joe was supposed to do his first speech on TV, and Ocasio-Cortez sitting behind him in another room with a helmet on, and Biden got an earpiece on, and Barack Obama standing right behind him, trying to making sure he's okay. And she said, "Hey, Joe." You say, "Hey, I'm Joe." "Yeah, I know I'm Joe." I'm like, oh my God. They was making a parody about it. It was really funny. It was really funny. And I'm like, that's sad. They are committing elder abuse.
It is, and they're pumping him so. I guarantee you. I mean, of course, I don't have any proof of it, but if you look at him, you can tell when somebody is like on heavy medications and stuff, that their face gets puffy, and like you can tell, because I've worked in nursing homes, I've done, I've worked in the ICU and all this stuff. Like when you put people under a certain regimen of medications, that their body will change, they'll retain fluid and stuff, and this guy is being so pumped full of stuff. I would bet money on it that just to keep him somewhat alert, just to trot him out every once in a while and say, look, he's not completely, gone. He's there's something going on, because you could see it. He's most of the time he's out of it, and then every once in a while he'll perk up. It's almost like sundowners. He'll just like perk up every once in a while, like, oh, okay, I can hold it together for a couple of minutes almost, and then you can see the batteries wearing down again. He can't do it for as long as he used to, and it's not as good as he used to do it. That's for sure.
And that first Thursday night when he came on TV, he looked creepy. It looked like they had a mask on, and then his eyes was real black.
Yeah, we're watching him deteriorate in real time. Like it's happening at a very quick rate.
It's elderly abuse, for God's sakes.
Yeah. It is elderly abuse, but then again, like, I don't know.
I'm going to share some.
I don't even know if he's aware enough to know that he's being abused.
Say, Jimmy's going to share a little something.
His wife should know.
Yeah, though nobody cares. That's what happens when you surround yourself with a bunch of opportunists. They don't really care about you. You don't have any real friends. You don't have any real family. They only care about your power and your wealth. So there ain't nobody around him looking out for him. So that's his own doing. And I don't feel a damn bit sorry for him about that, because he did that he made that decision with all his functioning brain cells back in the day.
And I don't forget what he did to Anita Hill.
Yep. Oh, he's got a long history. 47 years of being a shitty fucking person.
He's a segregationist. He hung out with Bird. So
that's what gets me. What gets me about Biden is, for one, he had more votes than Obama.
No. Nope.
Are you fucking kidding me? And
right.
All his rallies, there were like 5 people.
The guy that couldn't even make it past the primary? That guy?
Yeah. It was fucking... when Iowa came around and Bernie said to Jimmy Fallon, and the question was to Bernie Sanders, so if you don't win and Biden wins, do you think he can defeat Trump? And Bernie said, I do. Those are his words.
I remember he said that.
Of a person running for office against another person. Why in the fuck would you even come close to saying that? And this is right before the Iowa caucus. I go, okay, that's it. He's fucking done, because he's already taken the deal. He's done. And sure enough, I find out that Faiz Shakar Faisal Carr is the campaign manager for Bernie Sanders. And Faisal Carr used to work for Nancy Pelosi, Harry Reid, big fans of Bernie, right? And John Kerry. It's just like, why would you put the opposition's fucking tool in your campaign? It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, and you're hiring the enemy.
You're like hiring somebody you're hiring a kicker to be your quarterback.
And in 2016, Simone Sanders, what was she on his campaign? I forgot what she was, but she knew the Clintons since she was in school. I saw a video of her.
I want to check out we got some good people in here.
Yeah.
Schulte has been here for a while.
I know.
Schulte's
been around for a minute, man. Like Schulte's been around since, like I was talking about Anthony earlier. You know, he's been around since pretty much the beginning of my channel.
Yeah, it's good to see him.
And we got somebody new, Kat Terrell.
Kat Terrell? Who is Kat Terrell?
Over on Slow News Day. He was over there.
Alexandra just popped in.
Oh shit, Allie!
What?
And we'll bring her on next, hopefully.
Oh my god, she's so amazing. Oh my god, she's epic.
Yep.
Good to have you here, girl. Alright, she gets it. She gets it. She knows it's all. It's a big show. Cheryl, Mike Mathern, Kenneth Terrell. We all know it. The biggest thing that I have to say about what happens to all of us is we get stuck in that mainstream media moment, right? Yeah, and Proper's here. Proper, good. Always good to have Proper. Does Proper know who Klaus Schwab is? Because it seems like they have some kind of connection. It's kind of weird. But it's like when you hear or see or witness something on mainstream media, all of a sudden you're compelled to talk about it. Why is that? It's a keyword. It's part of. They know how do I say that? It's a manipulation process, and we've all been a victim of this. Tell me we haven't. Tell me we haven't.
I was before, but I'm not now.
It's bullshit. It's just a big fucking show. And I do truly hope that someday, we'll all come together, right, left, left, full circle, and talk about the common ground. And I think that's what's very important is I know there are millions and millions and millions of Republicans that want a better wage. They want Medicare. They want They want Medicare for all. They want their freedoms. They want to stop being censored. They want to live free and do the things they want. But I think it's the divide and conquer just keeps happening over and over and over. And the mainstream media that's behind me, right? And let's look at this thing. The predator class and corporate governance pay for and controls mainstream media $1 billion bills. They pay for all that. Not you. You don't pay for any of that. So why in the fuck would they give a fucking single fuck about you? I mean, think about that. Why would they even care? Because these studios, I mean, when you have like Allie and Slow News Day and Gloria and Steve and Convo Couch and Frank and everybody that's out there that's doing a great job, that's really getting the narrative that needs to be out there. It's not narrative, but more of just the factual components that need to be laid out for people. Why would you trust these people? I'm not talking about Frank. I'm talking about the mainstream media. Why would you trust the same people that get their billions and millions of dollars from the same people you've been fighting against forever? Yeah. So that's pretty much what's happening right now. The biggest thing is, and I know that Cheryl knows this because we've been doing this for a long time, Cheryl, and thank you for being on here, by the way, is there's got to be a way to fix this. And I know that there is, and we can't trust the system anymore. You've got to understand that. I know Cheryl knows this. The system itself is done.
Oh yeah.
It's
They're
done.
like stick a fucking fork in them. They're done, and it's never helped us. And what nobody brings up, which is the biggest thing to me, and I want people to start to talk about, Ali and everybody out there, is the 99%. Bring up that term. Bring up those numbers. The 99% has been left behind. Left behind. They're crash test dummies. They're clinical trial dummies, clinical trial dummies. They're experimental vaccine dummies. I mean, uh, tell me that they care. They don't, and they never have. I mean, this is the God's honest truth, not the universal honest truth. And everybody, and if you're paying attention, I know Allie's paying attention, is that they don't give a fuck. They just fucking don't.
Hey, they wouldn't bring her on, with everybody else if she was not paying attention and, smart cookie. So, yeah. I mean, that's why over at Roar, we were like, Allie, we want you. And everything, Slow News City is like, Allie, we want you. Because she's great. She's a great addition to have, for sure. She does the work. She's got the work to back it up.
Indy's here. Indy.
Yeah, Indy's here. I was just saying hi to him.
Independent Insider. Good to see you, buddy. You're my friend. I don't care what you say. You're my friend. I love you. Your family. You're Ohana. You're Ohana. You all are Ohana. Look. I'm Polynesian, okay, and on the island of Kauai, where I live, and many times on Oahu, our thing is Ohana. Ohana means family. These are the people that don't get left behind. We make sure that everybody in our Ohana are taken care of. Even though you may not be a part of it or strive for it, we just want to make sure that you're taken care of. And if you come to my house, you're going to get carte blanche. You're going to get food, clothing, anything you want. That's my Ohana. And we care about all of you. I care about all of you. I've always cared about all of you. My YouTube, which has been recently taken down by YouTube, the goal for me is to save the planet and all of its inhabitants for Ohana and then some, for your children, their children, and foremost. Allie, everybody, listen, I want to make sure that your kids after that, and everybody else can live, play, frolic, and have fun in the streams, the oceans, the soil, and everything that I was able to when I was a kid. I want to make sure of that. I want to fucking make sure that happens. But with the current legislative, judiciary, and executive puppets that are currently in office, that's not going to happen. That is not going to happen.
Yep. I mean, the goal is to leave the planet a little bit better than how we found it. It's like the rules of camping. Just make it a little bit nicer than the way that you found it. So that's how I see this. It's like, you know what? I can't. I mean, there's only so much we can do, individually. So, as long as I try to make it a little bit better, I'm okay with that. I mean, of course, I'd like to fix everything, but I'd like to at least push things in the right direction. So, it's like the anti-boomer mentality. Basically, it's like, instead of just saying, fuck everybody else, I got my vacation time and my, whatever. Not all boomers, but there was just that generation, man. Like what happened there? But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and wrap up here soon. Cheryl, okay. Jimmy, let me ask you, what do you want? What do you want from the world? What do you want to do or accomplish or whatever?
I want it to be just like I did when I was growing up. I remember growing up. as a kid.
Hold on,
And,
hold on. James wants to hear this. Turn on.
I would like it to be like it was when I was growing up. A lot of people, everybody, all the health conditions and everyone, a lot of people overweight. That wasn't like that back when I was growing up. I never heard of cancer. People getting cancer. I only heard one time my grandmother said, someone has a big C. I'm like, well, what's that? She said cancer. And you didn't hear nothing else again. It's just crazy how they say the food was better, the water. It's just sad. It's just sad. And I told my kids, I wish they could have grew up like I grew up back then. It's just sad. They giving kids vaccinations, and as soon as they born, my kids didn't get that as soon as they were born. I wouldn't have went for that.
Wow.
They don't even give the kids a chance for their immune system to build up.
Yeah, kids don't get to experience much of anything. Well, especially over the past year, they didn't get to experience anything at all. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
just now it's all iPads, and I mean, not to sound like wow, back in my day, but I mean, yeah, when I was younger, I played outside. I used my imagination. I would go to the library and read books, and
I used to ride my bike
fun.
and stuff.
But now it's so sterile. It's a sterile kind of a way of being. Like, you don't get to go out and play with other kids. You don't get to. It's all like a very condensed, predictable environment. Like, sometimes and it's good to protect our kids. We want things to be better. We want things to be easier for them. But at the same time, like, there has to be a little bit of like falling down. Like, there has to be a little bit of like scraping their knees, and a little bit of that, just enough for them to grow and learn and to be able to gauge things. But like, keeping them in this, wrapping our kids up in bubble wrap is not the answer. It is not helping them at all. At all.
So when they say when you ride a bike, let them wear a helmet.
Yeah, I mean, when things go bad, they're not going to know what to do with that. When they come across somebody new or different, they're not going to know how to talk to them, or how to work things out, or how to entertain themselves without, a screen in front of them. That's at least one thing I'm grateful for. I mean, I was a little bit behind the times. Not that, they had the internet and all these things out when I was a kid, cell phones and stuff, but I grew up in a place where, with an income that we couldn't afford things like that. So I grew up with not having those things. And
when I grew up, we didn't have internet. We didn't have computers then.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have a computer. I didn't have a computer or until I was in high school, and I didn't have a cell phone until I was like 18 or 19. I was in college when I got my first cell phone. So, it was
I was grown.
It was one of those Nokias, the originals. Like, my brother threw it in the bathtub and everything else. I would throw it in the ground, and like, that thing was indestructible. And now I breathe on my phone wrong, and it just it breaks. So,
and all this technology now, I think is good, but like, how many people know phone numbers anymore? I know I don't. I'm putting mine down in a book now, a phone book.
What was that? I'm sorry.
I said, how many people know I know maybe 1 or 2 phone numbers. Since we have these cell phones, we just go to the phone and look, and just hit the button and it dials the number. You don't actually
tell you what his number is. But I still remember like numbers from when I was in elementary school and middle school. I
still remember those numbers, but I'm talking about like current. So we used to know a lot of numbers in our head because we had the rotary phones when I was growing up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. One line, the busy signal.
Did you ever have the phone where you had to go like all the way around and like do that? I forget what it's called. Like, you have to go and you see it like in the movies and stuff. But I mean, this woman I went to church with, every Sunday I'd go over to her house, and she had one of those phones where you had to like go and wait for it to come back around. It was it was a trip. Yeah, we do things that we're a little bit behind here. Like we're not up on the
Yeah.
technical advances, so we're like
Yeah, right.
we're a generation behind. So I was
And
doing
like I
stuff like
said,
that.
TVs. I miss the old TVs with the knob. The knob. These new TVs, they break. You got to go get a new one.
Yep. There's
The
no
old
repair.
TVs, the knob break off. You get pliers to turn the channel. If the antenna broke, you put a hanger in it, and it worked.
Yeah, hold it just right.
Yeah, and you didn't have to buy a TV for a long time.
Repairmen are a thing of the past. There used to be shoe repairmen. There used to be appliance repairmen, TV repairmen. Not anymore. It's all about, use it up and buy a new one. Just keep churning out. You don't want to maintain a product. You want to keep having people buy the new one. So it's just planned obsolescence, I think is what it's called.
Yeah,
But Michael, are you still with us? I know.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Yeah. So I was thinking this, and Jimmy just asked me to ask you, what's your motivation for all this? Like, I know that you spend a lot of time. You've been with my channel, I think, watching for a couple of years now. So what's your motivation for doing all this?
It's complete. I got a bunch of them, and some of them are hard to put into words. I guess if it had to, if my life was a movie, the motivation would probably be my mother slowly dying on dialysis, and watching how much she struggled with that because she had polycystic kidneys, and I just don't like people going.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's happening.
A lot of people on that now. Got to get dialysis. My sister getting that now.
Sorry you had to go through that.
Oh, and I knew a girl I grew up with. She had to get in, and she wound up dying. She was on the kidney list. It's just a shame. All these people having these problems, and it's like it wasn't like that back then when I was growing up. It wasn't. All these illnesses and diabetes and high blood pressure. Mm-hmm. I never heard of a lot of those things when I was a kid.
No, I mean, there was more physical activity. There was more like you had to like, there was a process of like an exchange of like, if you were to get this, food, or there was a energy expense to get the food, but now it's like the food is like there, and you don't have to hunt it or farm it. It's just there, and especially
and also the food that's profoundly unhealthy is cheap, and the food that's healthy is expensive.
Well, that's why I say shop at Aldi's, because Aldi's does not have they don't use the American standard of food. They use like the European standard, which is much higher than what we have here. And so their food is a lot healthier than what you would find at, Walmart. Not that Walmart, you should avoid at all costs anyway, but or Kroger or any of these other, grocery stores, because they have a different standard for their food, and it's a lot cheaper, and they pay their workers better, and they let their cashiers sit down while they bring stuff up, which only makes sense to me. But
well, I think I have the Amish here, so
what was that?
I buy a lot from the Amish.
Oh, Amish, yeah, you live up there. There's a lot of Amish people up there. We've got a few down here. But I haven't been out in Amish country here or Pennsylvania. A lot of people talk about it, but I've just never been.
I live in Cajun country. Our food used to be healthy, but the oil pollution has like ruined everything.
Where did you say?
I said I live in Cajun country.
Listen to music. Dance.
Stop. I'm trying to hear. I'm sorry.
He said something like you live in Cajun country.
I live in Cajun country, yeah.
Cajun, okay. Yeah, I thought that's what you said. I was like, okay.
Yeah, we used to have healthy food, but then the oil industry, everything all the way.
Yeah, the South is especially bad when it comes to the way that the food is gone. I mean, like here, there's people are raised on It's a lot of carbs and a lot of fats because people were so poor here. That's all they could afford was like maybe a little bit of flour and
And
just
hot dogs. Big
something.
pack of hot dogs is cheap as hell, even though it's basically, I mean,
Yep.
what it even is in a hot dog?
Oh God, I don't want to know. I mean, because I have to eat that sometimes, and I try not to think about it. It's one of those foods that you just have to like eat and not think about it. Because if you think about it, like you're not going to be able to eat it. It's just it's salt and some animal parts. I just can't.
It tastes like pure fat, practically.
It's bad. It's bad. I try not to think about it. But yeah, we gotta do that sometimes because it's a lot cheaper. It's cheap. I mean, like there was a point in my life. Thank God I haven't had to do this recently, but a few years back, I looked up how many days in a row can you eat ramen before dying. Because I was like, I know there's no nutritional value. It's nothing but like salt and carbs. So I mean, like, how many times can I eat this before it literally kills me? So I was looking that up. I
Well,
mean,
I know
it's
thing
bleak.
that seasoning you put in. I saw somebody on Facebook put it in a bowl, and they put a bit of lighter to it, and that stuff started sparking all over the place. I'm like, well, what the hell is that doing in somebody's stomach? Yeah. And
Or
my kids
the
love that
McDonald's food
stuff.
that never rots. Oh,
Yep.
one of the tricks you can use if you go to a grocery store is stay on the perimeter of the store. The more that you go down the aisles, that's where all the processed food is. So if you stay on the outer edges of the store, that's where the fresh fruits and vegetables, dairy and all that stuff is. So like if you go down the aisles, that's where you get a lot of the like foods with dyes in it and processed and sugar and all that. But if you stay on the outside, you got a better chance of eating a little bit healthier than going down like the
And
frozen food aisle
do a
and
search
stuff.
for YouTube for Thai food, because Thai food is cheap, but it's healthy.
Oh, I have to look Thai food. Okay, let me write that down. Where's my pen? All right, Thai food. Yeah, there's one that
In
I
fact,
made. It
I
was
would
like
especially
peanut chicken.
recommend Pai Lin's channel. Pai Lin's Thai food.
Can you spell that?
Pailin, and it's
Pailin.
Pailin.
Oh, Lin. Okay. Yeah, there was this one that I used to make. It was like peanut chicken with coconut milk, and it was so good. Yeah, they
Yeah,
got good food.
yeah. The name of her channel is Pailin's Kitchen, and she has amazing food. I especially love her yamun sen.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and wrap up here.
Can I get one last subject before we go?
Yeah,
Because I've been
yeah,
wanting to talk about the
yeah,
China
of
thing for a
course.
while. You said how America is
Michael,
becoming
thank
more
you
like
for being
China.
on. Sure, what? Sorry, Michael was going to say.
to mention something really quick.
Oh, Michael, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead, Michael.
You said something about how America is becoming more like China. The reality is actually the reverse. China used to be like this dirt poor communist dictatorship, but they obsessively studied us, and because they would see how rich we were, and by obsessively studying us, they transformed themselves. But they didn't transform themselves into democracy. By studying what made us rich, they transformed themselves into a fascist, somewhere between like a fascist blend with hybrid regime elements. That's what China is now. It's a fascist country with hybrid regime elements,
Yeah.
and it's becoming rich as well. It's our biggest competitor now. It's
That is interesting.
yeah, and
Wow,
they studied us obsessively.
Exactly.
that makes a lot of sense.
No, he's nailing it. He's nailing it.
And
Michael.
that's not the first time in history it's happened. The Nazis, they were like Hitler was the biggest admirer of like guys like Henry Ford, and the biggest admirer of our genocide of the Native Americans, and how and he he was like Hitler was an America fan, and he was a fan of everything awful about us, our racism, our genocide, our slavery, our expansionism, our what was that thing that where we went to the sea, the Monroe Doctrine, I think it was, where it was like our Manifest Destiny. Manifest Destiny, that we were going to expand
Yeah,
to sea.
yeah,
Everything about everything awful about America is what Hitler was a huge fan of. He read cowboy books growing up. He was like America. He loved America. He loved all the worst aspects about us, and he distilled that into Nazism.
This is, oh God, this is so, I mean, like, look, I know that we were terrible. I'm not sugarcoating anything in our past. Like, I know, like, we fucked over a lot of groups of people, that we are like absolutely insane. But just to know that, like, to hear, to like really put it into words that like our country was inspirational to Hitler. Um, it's ickier than eating a hot dog. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
It's the business model. The business model.
Oh, that's so disturbing. It's so gross. That's so bad.
All right, guys. How you doing?
I'm sorry, world, for that. Oh fuck, man. That's not gonna that's one of those things that you learn. It's just not gonna sit well. That's not gonna sit well for a while, or ever. Okay, that's a good note to go out on. Oh my God! But I'm glad I know that. But still, it's like, oh my God, Hitler inspired us. I think more people need to hear that. For sure.
Well, there's rings within rings within rings.
Yeah.
G. Edward Griffin did a great seminar on this, and he wasn't saying that the Illuminati still exists, and I'm not saying they do. That's bullshit. So if anybody brings up the Illuminati, it's the practice of it. So it's a business model that happened a long time ago. How to make sure that the first ring controls the second ring, that controls the third ring, and so forth.
What was that video, Michael, that you shared with me? It was
Your voice cut out. I couldn't hear her.
What was that video that you shared with me? The rules of power.
The rules for rulers.
Rules for rulers. That's what it was. Okay, yeah. Anybody that hasn't watched that, and they brought that up on Harlan's Media the other day. Well, not the other day, but probably a couple months ago. But that is definitely worth a watch. That it perfectly explains how these people are able to get by doing what they do. So yeah, it's worth the watch. I'll see if I can find the video.
And Daniel did that?
Well, no, not Kit. Daniel did.
Oh, Daniel did. Cheryl, what you got?
What do I have?
Before we go, any last words?
No, it was nice talking to you guys again.
I was worried you're going to drop some more information like just
I had no more information.
That's what I love about Cheryl. She's always super, just out of nowhere. It's like, what?
Cheryl's always got good information.
Great information. Well, she's paying attention.
Yeah.
Which most people should. But for me and what I do, and thank you, by the way, Stevie from Redneck Economics, having me on tonight. I truly appreciate it.
Well, I am a biased source, so I am a wife, so.
Super biased. God, that's bad. It's like
full disclosure.
It's like you're my Pelosi and I'm your.
Don't ever do that.
Schumer.
Nope. That's right up there with what Michael just said.
Right. That's just not right. But I will say this. If there is a moment in our existence, us being here, that we need to fight for ourselves, we have to. Alone, yes, why not? We have to make sure that you as an individual are represented. You as an individual is taken care of. You as an individual have your rights and freedoms. It's very obvious. And I know that the right and left can get together on this. That's why we started Party Exodus, everybody, partyexodus.org. It's not about signing up and having a cup of tea or coffee or whatever in Starbucks or whatever, to create little groups. It's about you being responsible for what's happening to the planet and its existence and what's happening to our political system, which is crap. It's crap. You have to admit that. By the way, guess what? Our political system, our electoral system, our voting system is shit. It's shit. So why would you hold on to that? Why would you want to be a part of that abusive relationship? Right? I mean, if you're in a abusive relationship that never does anything for you, then why are you still there? Why are you still there? Why are you still there? So it's hard for people to understand what we're talking about. It's not about third party. It's not about third party. No fucking way. It's about you being your own party boss. It's about you taking your own responsibility. Because the way it happened a long time ago, back in the revolution, right? Am I saying that? Okay. But in any case, guys, thank you for listening to me. It's Stevie. Thank you for being on. Wait. Thank you for allowing me on.
Yeah, it's the other way around.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Stevie,
Thank you for
Stevie, I
being
said,
a guest.
Yeah, thank you. No, thank you. No, thank you. But anyway, you guys are amazing. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
So good. Let me just go over the name. Shelty, thank you for 1,000. It's been a while. Wait. You go ahead and say it. I'm gonna go.
Okay. Yes.
Take
Okay.
care. Aloha.
Thank you, Michael,
Aloha.
Cheryl, everybody in
Good
chat.
night.
Good night,
Stevie,
Andy. Yes.
I sent you the Yamun Sin recipe on Facebook.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you. We'll have to try that one out. All right. Good night, everybody. Thanks for watching this extremely long live stream and participating. All right. Bye, y'all.